What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Frontline Youth Podcast. I'm Elijah Tijero, and I'm here with
Elijah and a special.
I mean, obviously,
guest.
you can tell this from the different everything. We got somebody else on here.
Wait.
The villain.
Where's it at, bro? I don't know how to.
What are you talking about?
How do you
QW?
censor? Yep. Who else do we have? We have Pastor.
Oh. Scott.
Yeah, so we got that guy here with us. He who shall not be named.
You gotta say it actually censors and cut all that out.
Well, he who shall not be named.
Amen.
We got Pastor Scott with us,
Let's go.
the head of Fly, the leader of the youth ministry, the assistant pastor at our church,
Hola,
an
come on,
all-around
Estes,
cool
everyone.
guy. Well,
I'm
yep.
okay.
Almost all around, like
All right,
359 degrees.
let's get into this.
All right.
I guess we just go topic, huh? There's not a whole bunch to talk about ahead other than that,
The Lord will fill in the gaps.
you know?
Amen. I hope you guys have been well. Any well wishes for the people?
For me?
Any words to address
you
the people?
guys, look, I know you're looking at this episode and you're like, so they have 58 episodes.
If you will.
Yo, oh my gosh, y'all, he be doing this in real life.
This one is number 59. It's your fourth pastor's perspective. Y'all hate your pastors.
That's right. All right. Can we restart?
No.
All right, so hey, okay, so welcome to
It's
the
over.
Frontline Youth Podcast.
We're getting shut down.
I said the wrong thing. Let's talk about pride. Yes. Woo!
We're going to try to get more. We don't want to oversaturate it. Of course, our pastors, they're busy people. So
Right.
They got things to do.
But we're always available for you guys. Always.
Always.
We'll make time.
This is true.
And that's why we don't actually hate them. We love them.
One of them is our father.
One. Okay.
We can't hate him.
That's not a guarantee.
That's not true. That's not true. You're right. Some of y'all hate your
I
fathers.
was about to say shout out
you gotta,
to y'all.
You got to get that
Nah.
hate out your heart, man.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's toothpaste out of the tube now.
Yeah,
It's too late.
Yeah, it
but
is.
if you like,
I'm sure there's
this
a
is
YouTube
random,
video
bro.
somewhere where somebody did.
but if your father did you wrong, maybe he left you, didn't treat you the way that you should have been treated. That sucks. That's not good. Elijah's phone is vibrating. He's fired.
That's actually me. Good night, Sequoia. I love you.
You got name dropped.
Name dropped. I mean, she's been on an episode.
Have a good
But
day at work.
that doesn't mean that you want to live with hate in your heart against that man. He might not have done a great job. Maybe he did a horrible job. Maybe he didn't do a job at all. But regardless of that, you got to forgive and let that go. Did we do an episode on forgiveness?
We did.
Check
And
that one out.
forgiveness is a W.
What number?
Oh, we're too many for that, bro.
Nope.
I can remember
It's
some of the
recent.
classics.
It's 53.
I'm going to hold you to the fire. You said you remember by the song.
I did.
So what
I
song?
remembered it.
Isaiah remembered by the song. Would you look at that?
Because
yo?
it's the only song recently where it's just me. 53. Elijah was in Malaysia.
What does it sound like?
Malaysia.
What does it sound like? If I crashed into your car,
Oh yeah.
if I ever left you scarred, if I ever broke your heart, would you forgive me? Yep, that's the one.
Let's go.
Fire.
I was there for part of the discussion of that song, but I fled before the song was recorded. Shout out to me.
Shout out to him. Let's do this.
Let's do this.
Our
Just
topic-
real quick before we do that. So right behind the scenes, I think me and my wife sung that song and played that song so many times.
Yeah.
Straight up. I think that's it.
Would you look at that?
Look, that's why we do the songs, bro, because they're fire. They're heat.
So
Right.
so you're gonna make just a song CD, right?
That
No.
was actually a thought.
We were thinking about it, but no. We have for those who don't know, we have a SoundCloud account called Fly Podcast where we have it's called Season 2, the album. It's Season 2 album, which is all the intro songs in one spot.
Why does it vibrate like that?
I know.
Like,
And at the end of this year, when Season 3 is over, we will drop the album for that one too. But we're not gonna extend the songs like we were thinking about, because that's a lot of songs.
Yeah, it's low key. It's a lot of work just for the
Just
little
for
clips.
the small ones.
So I think what's going on here, listeners, is that our host and co-hosts are telling us that they're lazy.
All right.
And that they don't
So
want to
it turns
put the
out
work in for
that
the Lord.
Pastor has been blocked for this episode. It's actually that was the whole pastor's perspective.
Is crazy. The censor is crazy.
I'm not cursing you guys.
I believe you are Christian. Christian.
What could his name be? Oh yeah, that's Pastor.
Never mind. I'm not even. All
what
right.
did
Yeah,
you
let's
say?
talk about pride. All right, let's talk about pride today, while it is day.
Before it becomes tomorrow, because that's coming up
in a few minutes.
All right.
That's me.
Okay.
So, about pride, the first subject here
What is pride?
is that everyone possesses pride.
Fact.
Everyone expresses pride in some way. Let's talk about it.
Okay. Everyone has pride. This can be both a positive and a negative.
Word.
I said that wrong. This can be both a negative and a positive.
Word. Whoa.
It's different.
Okay.
You assume it's negative,
It's
but
an
if you say
integer.
the positive is what's interesting about it. Because to have pride is not always a bad thing, I would say. Although it depends on how you define it.
Okay.
So for example, when we make the songs for our intros and we're done with them, pretty much every single time I'm very proud of what we've created. I'm always like, oh yeah, that was good. I listen to them. Fun fact, I listen to our own intro songs by themselves in my car because they're cool to me. I'm proud of them. Am I being prideful? Maybe, bro. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know actually the answer to that question.
That's interesting.
But everyone has things they're proud of.
Yeah.
Right.
People are proud of their kids. You could be at a graduation, you got kids,
I can't stand my kid.
There are thousands of kids in there, thousands of graduates, hundreds of people getting their diplomas and tossing their hats and what you don't care. But then you see your own kid. Oh man, my daughter's so pretty. Oh man, my son is so handsome walking across that stage. Look at that successful young person that's about to take over the world. The last person who walked across could have had better grades, better everything.
That's all that school cares
Yeah,
about.
that's true. But you don't care about that because it's your child. You got pride in that child. So, I don't think that's bad.
So Proverbs 29:23 says, "A man's pride will bring him low, but the humble in spirit will retain honor." So, as you were just saying, you like your songs. You're not, you know what I'm saying? If you were prideful about your songs, then it'd probably be your own demise, because then I wouldn't have had to call you guys lazy for not wanting to extend them.
Dang.
Because your pride would say, "Oh man, we about to make all of these bangers, every last one of them," because we know we can do that. But because you're humble, you're like, we'll just leave them as is. We're gonna put it out. You guys will love them. But listeners, do not let them off the hook. Ask for verses.
Please let us off the hook, please.
I mean, yeah. So like the verse was saying, if you're given over into, being better, being the best, everyone else is worse, or and that, it might not even be that you think that way, but your actions say that. You know what I mean? Where you place yourself above others, or you place yourself above God. Sometimes, maybe you just place yourself in a position you're just not in. Then that's pride. Now, this is a little bit of inside baseball here.
Bro said inside baseball.
People say that.
Oh, I never heard that before. I take it back. I'm illiterate.
I've heard of inside track, but I guess that works.
This is a bit of outdoor swimming. My bad. Go ahead. My bad. This is a bit of
Hold on, outdoor swimming. Outdoor swimming.
That's normal. Go to the beach. Go to the spring lake. Y'all feeling me?
So when
I hit the soundboard and it wasn't feeling me. It didn't even make a sound. Go ahead.
Our songs, right? One of the things that I feel is the coolest thing about our
Inside
songs
baseball.
is that when I listen to other podcasts, they ain't got a song. Am I being prideful? Yeah, we're cooler because we have songs. Is that pride? That's an opinion. It's just an opinion.
Yeah.
What's your motivation, though?
For doing the song?
No. What is the motive of your heart? Because people can be motivated by pride positively or negatively.
Word. Oh, well, my motivation, it's just to make something that's good. You know what I mean? I don't want to make something, especially here. You guys are listeners. I'm never gonna, come on here and not give my best effort. I'm gonna, because one, I want you guys to have something that's really cool to listen to, but two, we don't do these episodes for fun. I mean, we have fun doing them, but obviously we have a purpose and a goal with these, which is to spread the gospel, to spread Christianity, to tell people about Jesus, to change some perspectives of Christians who are already Christian, but maybe they got some things they've never heard about that they should hear about,
Yeah.
So, and in order to make sure that you actually listen to what we're saying, it has to be an entertaining experience. Otherwise, you're going to turn it off. So
speaking of the motivations of pride, I want to give an example I think is at least benign, if not good, from personal experience.
Why, you see?
What?
I was just talking about how I want to make sure I give my best. He said he's going to give something benign and whack or something.
If not good, that's what oh man, no, I mean, I mean like the pride in question, like it's not a problem or it's a good thing, the good kind, not like the example. All right. So we were, playing volleyball on the 4th of July. Y'all, listen, our whole church sucks at volleyball, including me and the best of us. I love playing volleyball. Now I don't see that we suck because it looks great when we play to us. But I'm just saying, like, if you watch it on TV, we're not going to compare to those people. Nonetheless, our church has great volleyball. Great. Right? But anyway, so we played a lot of Sunday nights during the warmer seasons, and we play on outdoor holiday events. One of them was the 4th of July. And man, we were out there one time, and we were in this outdoor volleyball pit. It was sand, and a lot of people play barefoot. I feel like you have a better connection to the game that way. You feel your reflexes, and you can jump off the ground like a what?
A kangaroo.
Like a spider.
Ew.
My bad. Like a cat. I don't like cats either.
Kangaroo.
Like a kangaroo. That just didn't sound cool.
That's what they do is jump.
You're right. So anyway,
you said spider.
Yeah,
nobody forget that.
You can,
he thought what jumps and thinks of the only thing that has a special jumping version of it, meaning they don't jump.
Anyway,
fool.
So out there barefoot on hot sand is what I'm getting at. Now, let me tell you something. I have never been in the military. However, my father was a Marine in his time before he got out to pursue his life for the Lord and support his family and whatnot, right?
He went off to work at NASA and whatnot.
Little known information. One day y'all get that story out of him. Maybe another pastor's perspective. Anyway, he did really work for NASA.
If you will.
Yes, that's a if you will. But anyway, there's a young man in the church who is part of the Army right now. And so we were playing on the court, we're on the same team, and I step off. I'm like, dang, my feet are burning. Let me get a second. I'm standing in the grass. He said, oh, because that's how they do in the Marines, right? I got right back on immediately. My feet were dying. Let me tell you something. This brother got off the court, put on socks, put on shoes, sat on the bench for a while, then came back. He completely forgot about what he said. I was like, yeah, I outlasted him. What you got to say about the Marines now? I ain't never been no Marine. I don't know a thing about the Marines. I won.
Gotta defend your father's
yes,
honor.
Sir. My feet were dying. This lady walks off the court and she's like, oh my gosh, I have blisters on my feet. I was like, she's being dramatic. She checked. She really did. Her feet were like hurt and messed up. And I was like, no way my feet don't feel as bad as hers. I've been out here twice the time. Somehow I got away with it. Maybe I got caveman feet, but it hurt like I had blisters. Anyway, pride. I was standing up for the pride of the Marines that I'm not a part of. And but it was a strong motivator. It was a strong motivator in this circumstance. But there are other times where I could be strongly motivated where I could be strongly motivated by pride, where it is not such a harmless thing as that. Like, y'all, I'm talking to y'all only, bro. Please hear me out, yo. Please hear me out.
All right. I'm sorry.
Oh, sometimes you're not standing up in the defense of the Marine Corps.
Sure.
Or your family or anything cool like that. It is just your feelings. I can't keep what are y'all gonna have to carry, bro? Please start talking. I'm done for right now. Please.
All right. We had to take a break to
finish mocking me. Do y'all hear the tears in my voice?
Oh my God.
We ain't even write a quote on the board this time. Not that the listeners know about
we
the
ain't
quote.
left.
You're right.
We do it when we leave. All right.
But you know, like we had that.
So I don't know how to.
The Uzumaki quote before.
Yep. So we talked about how everybody has pride.
Yes.
How it can be. Okay, go ahead.
I was talking about pride as a strong motivator. How sometimes it could drive you to do things that are painful to you and even put strain on your relationships. Now, I was talking about a way that it was painful that wasn't that bad because it's just pain in my feet. But strain on your relationships is a real thing that can happen as a result of trying to uphold your pride. And why, I want to know why a person could be so motivated to defend their pride that they would harm a relationship. And also, how does standing up for your pride harm your relationship sometimes? How can it?
Because you don't want to say you're wrong. So in a family setting, if you will, the children, so like say for instance you got a brother and sister, right? And the brother and sister don't want to, they're fighting, but neither one of them wants to say I'm sorry, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm sure you guys as brothers have experienced that. Nobody wants to say they're sorry because everybody's mad.
Let's go.
And so that's when pride is not a good motivator. It's like, I'm going to see who can hold the grudge the longest. Or I'm going to keep right on putting itching powder in his underwear drawer.
What?
And things of that nature, you know.
No, that's evil.
You
that
guys
is
continue
like,
to one up one
that's a
another.
crime.
I have a story about that. So that actually happened. And so, but we'll talk about that another time.
Bro. Is the perpetrator alive to this day?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
These are girls. These
are they
girls.
in jail?
Yeah. No.
For something else they've done?
No, not to my knowledge.
No, bro. If you ever accessed itching powder, that's like having TNT with the little push thing from the cartoons in your house, bro.
It was very, very traumatic. It shouldn't have been allowed to be done. But it was,
that's like having an anvil above your enemy's door.
Yeah, it's terrible. So yes, but that's when pride cannot be a good motivator. So when pride can be a good motivator is if he was talking like Isaiah was talking about earlier about his podcast. Well, not his podcast, but
not my podcast, right? But
the songs of the podcast. You're making the songs, so you don't. It's like us. We don't want to just preach trash sermons,
Rex.
Right? So it's not. I'm never gonna. I would never ever walk up to the podium and just be like, I ain't got nothing today, guys. So we just gonna wing it.
Right, and you start freestyling.
Ever. Yeah.
I got a teddy bear.
Not gonna do that. Yeah, not gonna do ever would do that. Because then it's like, okay, that means I don't have respect for the congregation. That's number one.
That's true.
Number two is I don't have respect for God enough to apply myself to study.
Right.
Word.
And because the Bible says we should study to show ourselves approved, right? And so yeah, that's just not gonna happen. So but in pride would say, if somebody was being prideful, they would get up there and say, you know what? I've preached 1,000 sermons. I can get up there and, wing it and they'll never know it. That's when pride's a bad motivator.
Yeah. That's real. So how does pride creep up in our nature? Like, is there an age where it starts? Do you start being prideful at a certain age or after a certain experience?
That's in the notes. No.
But that's a good question. I don't think pride has an
got some
age when
validation
it.
from him.
I don't think pride has an age when it creeps up though. I think it just
Spawns.
yeah.
I
It's
think
true.
pride is from the jump, bro.
So let's look at Lucifer, right? So Lucifer, I in a sermon I preached called "The Devil Is a Liar," right? Lucifer, I said that I made a statement that the first lie that Satan told was to himself, right? And so that lie was motivated by pride. And so look at this, Isaiah 14, 12 through 15 says, "How you are fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning. How you are cut down to the ground." Why was he cut down? Because he had lifted himself up, right, in pride. So you who weaken the nations, his pride weakened the nations, right?
Right.
And so for you have said in your heart, I will ascend into the heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will also sit on the mount of the congregation on the further side of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. These are all things Lucifer is saying. I'm going to do this. Pride is so rooted in us.
Yeah.
I'm going to ascend higher than God. I'm going to sit. He's saying basically, God, this kingdom you got, that's nice. It's your little kingdom, but I'm going to build my own kingdom over here in the north. And it's going to be higher than yours. It's going to be better than yours. And it's going to do this. Pride motivated.
Right.
Everything Lucifer was about, because we know before he was the devil, before he was Satan, he was Lucifer. That was his given name while he was in heaven, right? And so he's like, oh, I'm going to be like God. First off, we're all trying to get to heaven.
Yeah.
What would motivate Lucifer to sit there and the place we're all trying to get to, he's trying to exit out of? Why?
I don't.
Because he wasn't happy with being less than number one.
Yeah. So he could submit to headship.
Okay.
It's true, because the way that Christians get into heaven after being sinners on earth as we are is learning to put God first instead of ourselves. So I feel like if you spawned in heaven, you might just not get it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like you might not, because part of our way of getting into heaven is like understanding, like not me, but God, but if you just there, I don't know, you don't know the struggle.
Word.
You don't know I don't know what you call it.
So think about this, though.
The grind.
Satan's pride caused conflict in heaven that led to a war.
Right.
Fact.
So these are heavenly creatures, heavenly beings who are in perfection, who have everything that you and I are. We're living our whole lives now to make it to heaven.
Yeah.
We know it's going to be a new heaven, but still, we're trying to get there, right?
Right.
Where they are now.
The poor. Sorry. No,
That sounded so far away. Anyway. But anyway, so
sorry, there's emergency services somewhere.
Somebody's having an emergency, so pray for them. But the thing about Satan is just the fact that he would this is how dangerous pride is, because pride is very dangerous, and I liken pride to a disease because it spreads. It's a virus, and so he began to spread his message. He began to preach. This is why it's so dangerous. This is why pride is, like I talked about, the pastor who comes up to the pulpit, because what happens is he comes up that one time, right, and God actually helps him. He has nothing. He comes up and he preaches that sermon that one time. He has nothing. Nobody knows, but he begins to talk and God helps him. Yeah. Well, now he's like, man, well, I can do that again. And then it's the whole Samson thing, right? I can do that again. Well, it's me.
Right.
It's me. Samson didn't
just wake me up again. I'll burst out the chains
like I did last time.
Yeah.
Boy, it was the Lord helping you every time. Every time. And so what begins to happen with Lucifer is he begins to spread his message, and then other people begin to believe it. So much so that it causes conflict in a perfect place.
Right.
Where the presence of God is, where we know that sin cannot dwell where God is. So how does that happen? Pride is that dangerous. This is why you and I have to pray against pride. And number one, we have to always be self-aware enough to say, okay, if Satan himself, if Lucifer himself, if pride costs him heaven, which ultimately is what happened, how much more can it cost me?
Right. So that's a theme I've heard before at home with the other pastor. He's talked about how being very prideful involves lacking self-awareness a lot of the time. Like you don't see yourself the way that you should be.
I agree. I agree with that because of the simple fact that, so like Lucifer, right? Again, he's in heaven. He's in a perfect place. The Bible says that Satan is the father of lies.
Yeah.
So that means that the first lie that was ever told, he birthed. So he birthed lies. So where did that come from? That came from a perpetuation of him selling this lie to himself, him selling this fantasy to himself. Think about all these people who are wrapped up in pride. A lot of times, again, we think about it on a bigger scale, when we see these serial killers and they leave these manifestos. Oftentimes, when the police don't catch them for a long time, they end up. I don't know if you guys watch documentaries or you've seen movies. What do they end up doing? They end up calling the police.
Mm-hmm. Turning themselves in.
Not really. No, they don't turn themselves in.
Just leaving trails.
Caught me.
Yeah, what's wrong with y'all? Y'all haven't caught me yet. You guys are dumb. They begin to taunt the police. That's pride.
For sure.
The Riddler. My bad.
I was about to go in on some of those on serial killer stuff. That's not the point. You know what? I'm gonna say it anyway.
Again, it's rooted in pride, though.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, like a lot of times, like when an unfortunate killing would happen, and then the police they'd open up a helpline for tips and stuff. But sometimes they open it up because they know that the perpetrator is gonna want to call in to like, I called them and they didn't even know it was me on the phone. But like they can figure it out off that.
So they trace each and every person who calls. I see.
But yeah.
That's a point in itself. Pride is a way to open up yourself to get played because you thought
That's
you
it.
thought you were
Yeah. So
you ain't even all right.
No, you're good. To move on with the topic. So obviously you being a pastor, that means, like we say on this podcast all the time, people go to you for advice.
Right. About 10%, maybe less, of a pastor's job is writing and preaching sermons.
I know, bro. Yeah, literally everything else goes to the pastor. Y'all don't know.
My pastor told me right before I got ready to leave, I asked him, I said, I need some advice. I'm going out into these mean streets to
Streets is mean.
preach this gospel. What's your advice? And we're sitting in his office, and he said, and I had my calendar. I never forget. I wrote it down in my calendar. He said, "Pastor is working with people."
Yeah.
He said, "Your sermons, they ain't gonna remember them,
Right.
but they remember what the conversations that you had with them. They remember the kind gestures that you did. Remember the nights you stayed up with them, the nights you took their phone calls. They remember all these things. So pastoring is working with people.
That's the truth.
It is not preaching sermons.
Yeah,
Amen.
That's part of it, but that's why I always say, go ahead.
A very humble insight I've heard from the pastor to be, what do you call him, that's about to go out after this Sunday.
Pastor Jeremy Rushmore. Yes.
Okay, name drop the first and last. Government name is
He
out
going
there.
into the public, bro.
He
He
is.
about to be a leader of the people.
Hallelujah. That was not the right button, but yeah, it was the most natural. Anyway, I was talking to him, and he was like, "Yeah, and you know what? I'm sold on it. Like, I'm ready to go. I'm gonna do what I need to do." And just recently, it's come to me like, I don't care if I'm not good at preaching. I don't care if they're like, "Dang, why does he preach like that?" Or people, if he never gets invited to do a revival or anything. But if he gets out there and what he's doing is actually what God wants him to do, and God is with him at every step, and people are still somehow getting saved, even if he looks like a goofball while it's happening, like, that's a dub. That was the goal from the beginning.
I've seen just over my time being saved, I've seen men who don't preach well. Their sermons are either very basic. So we had a guy come here. He's still pastoring today. His name is Sean Davis, and
Is he about to get hated on for his preaching ability?
No. This is a wonderful testimony.
Okay.
His sermons are very basic. And he tells you that he didn't know how to read. His wife before he got saved. His wife used to read the Bible to him. And
wife. Hey, ladies listening, hey,
bro, you got to be able to sacrifice for your husband.
That is just, hey,
I would do this for you.
Hey.
So think about how humble he has to be for that.
True.
Yeah.
You know, he can't even read. First off, that's embarrassing in itself. He can't read.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, so he learned how to read after he got saved and all that. Right. So he's preaching these sermons and all this. And this guy, this revival that we had with him when I was a young disciple, if you'll ask most of the guys, ask Pastor Bobby, ask David, ask Brian Beebe. I think Brian Beebe might have been here then. But ask some of these guys, they will tell you that was one of the most memorable revivals that we had.
We got the congestion.
Yes.
Memorable with M's. Come on, not bead girls.
Not B's, M's.
Yes.
We're trying.
But yes, that was
the
one
second
of those
episode on here. He congested again.
Again.
It happens, bro.
Again.
It's seasonal.
But you know what's funny? When I went to Virginia, as soon as I crossed the Virginia line, it all went away.
Dang. It's prophetic.
It's better. It's a better spot. You know, Virginia's for lovers. Is that what they say? That doesn't mean nothing.
North Carolina's first in freedom.
First in flight.
First in flight, yeah. First in flight.
First in freedom is crazy.
Yeah.
First in freedom is actually wild.
Virginia's for lovers. Amen. That's why I'm from there. Ladies hit my phone now.
Okay.
Can we cut that out?
Nope.
That's pride.
Yo, take it back. That's not what I want to hear, sir.
All right.
Because now you make it sound like
we're moving on.
I wanted to hear.
We're moving on.
I've made mistakes, everyone.
So,
this is why you don't speak before you think.
So,
they say pride cometh before the fall. So
fact. I was gonna name this episode that. Then I was like, no. I was gonna. Look, this is some more inside baseball. Elijah hates that term for some reason. I was thinking about naming this episode "Pride and the Subsequent Fall." Don't ask me why. I thought it sounded cool.
Bodies will fall in the desert.
Oh my gosh!
Shout out to
Go
that
listen
episode.
to that episode, bro.
yes,
Complaining.
please. Hey, that was a good episode, you guys. I really enjoyed that one.
Fun fact about
that's
our
validation
guest
right
here,
there.
the pastor for this episode. He's an avid listener. If y'all didn't know, he knows everything
If
about
I could
this
just get
podcast.
my YouTube to let me comment, I'd be all right. But I listen to every one of them, probably first.
Yeah, one of the first.
More than likely, yeah.
Yeah, if
not
not one
Israel.
of the first. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Israel be up.
Israel does. Yeah.
He up right now.
Israel be up 12:05.
So
As soon as
we.
it drops, he's
You
like,
mean when
play.
this comes out?
Just in general, he up in general. Hey, there's nothing wrong with being up at the time this is being recorded at.
Shout out Israel. He actually called right before we started. So
That is true. Hey,
Legend. That's my
That's
brother, bro. My first one. So I like him more. But it's neither here nor there. You know, Elijah, he never really thinks about this, but there was a time when Israel was my only brother. So that means that if they were like, who's your favorite brother? I'd say Israel. Duh, he's my only brother. So that means
then I came out the womb,
and then
you know,
now I don't have a favorite, but there's only one who has ever been my favorite, and it wasn't you. Saying, I say that's a joke, guys. I swear it's a joke. I say the same thing about my parents. That when I was their only son, they'd have to. If someone asked them who their favorite son was, it was me. Duh.
Nah, they were dreaming about the
So
other
I'm-
two.
all
They were
right.
like, we can't say it. We can't
no,
say
they
it.
weren't because they wanted a daughter.
You're right.
That was gonna be Israel. I think
I could get my wig.
they're gonna name her Jordan.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. Thank the Lord. I didn't want no sister. No hate to my sisters.
No
though.
hate.
Moving on.
Anyway.
When it comes, no, that's just us.
Okay.
When it comes to people coming into your office, asking you things.
Come into my office.
First off, how many times is it where that whatever issue they're going through, your advice is like somehow related to stop being prideful? Is this common?
Let's see.
Oh no.
I wanna answer properly.
Golly.
Right? Without
Go ahead and log off and repent and then come back, bro.
with sparing the innocent, if you will.
I see.
And so, well, because I counsel. I have the privilege to counsel teens and adults.
Right.
And so your dad probably gets more adults than teens, but I get an equal share of both, and so which I think is cool because it goes from one spectrum or the other. Honestly, most of the time, if it's a marriage issue, there's always some pride in there somewhere because somebody doesn't want to apologize for something.
Yeah.
So, and that's always rooted in pride because I had that problem. I didn't want to apologize because I had been told forever that I was perfect, that I was the guy they always got left by the girl because she was like, "You're too perfect."
He back in his day, he was the boy best friend.
He was
Y'all
the best,
stay
but
away
he was
from him.
He was
Actually,
He did it
he was
again,
used to
huh?
being the excellent one.
Actually, I'm in my day right now, so I don't have a back in my day.
You better clarify that statement. He's an honest man.
I'm being honest. That's why my wife can vouch for me. I'm still in my day.
That's what I'm saying though. This is the wife vouching day and not the he did it again day.
That's how I got her.
Okay.
All right. With marriage, a lot of times people will be prideful. They don't want to admit wrong. So then it causes contention because
Correct.
obviously you can't be in a relationship with someone and expect to have love from them when you can't even admit when you're wrong or you can't attend to their emotions and feelings.
Right.
Correct.
Because you're worried about your own because of the pride.
Fact. What are some other? Because obviously marriage, but then there's some things where like people will come to ask you for advice, and then like I don't want to speak for you because a lot of people have said that when we have pastors' perspectives, we don't let the pastors talk enough.
That's true.
So
So that's because they don't listen. Anyway, they don't listen to what's being said. We pastors, we talk a lot, so we know how to contextualize our answers. So as hosts in a podcast, you have to pull things from your guests sometimes in order to get where you're going because that's what drives the podcast.
Right.
And so I think that's very good. Anyway, because if we just rambled all day, then we'd just be rambling. But to answer your question, there are situations where teenagers do come and a lot of that stuff ain't necessarily pride based. It's a misunderstanding, if you will, or they don't understand their emotions. They haven't processed them all the way. Now there are instances I think once I give them an answer, that pride rises up. So especially if I'm telling them to do something against what they've already planned in their mind that they want to do.
Right.
yeah.
So it's not initially rooted in pride, but I think the pride begins to rise up when you tell them, hey, you might not want to do that because hold on. It's
You
like
haven't heard my reasoning.
Yeah. It's like,
Oh man, that sounds like me.
Or it's like when, when they would
PTSD
they'll be
from
like,
that statement.
they'll be like, I just feel like the way that I thought it in my head is better than what you're telling me.
Right. No, bro. If you haven't experienced that exact emotion coming from yourself, you're lying, bro.
Bro, it's
If you've
been
ever
a long
been
time.
corrected.
It's been a long time if it has, bro, because I can't remember the last time I said something like
Not
that.
not to say it, but to be like you know what I'm saying. You're just fighting it. You don't want to hear it at all.
Yeah, like so let's just take this. If I have to bring somebody in and I'm correcting them or reprimanding them or whatever the case may be, right? That's in essence when that'll happen. They didn't come into counseling with pride. They came in humble, ready to receive something.
Right.
But your flesh, again, think about it. Satan, going back to the Father, when he birthed it, he knew that God was the supreme. Why do we got to listen to him? Who made him the authority on all things in the world?
Right.
Well, sir, he is God. He
made the world.
Right. He made you.
Exactly.
Like, he formed you with timbrels and stones that we don't even know about, that we can't even find, right? So he fashioned you in the way that you're fashioned, and you have the gall, the gumption,
Bro,
the timidity, right?
gumption.
The big words. And so
Yes.
to say, I'm going to ascend higher than you who created me. I know more than you. It's the same thing with teenagers, because this is a teen podcast, or this is a youth podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? I know more than my parents, even though my parents have gone through everything I've gone through and survived it.
Yeah.
I always tell my kids, it's like you wanna listen to people who are gonna jump off the same cliff you're about to jump off of. It don't make sense
At all.
But pride tells you, my parents don't know what they're talking about. They've never been through what I've been through. Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
Or your pastor, or your guardian, or
Right.
whoever.
And even
That's pride. Go ahead.
even if at times, if maybe they don't know, maybe if it's a new type of situation, and you can reason like, well, they don't know exactly what's going on or whatever. They don't know all the details or whatever. A lot of times, the sentiment could be that because you might know a little bit more about the situation, that you just your field of knowledge is completely superior to theirs, and it's like it doesn't matter what they say. They did like you think everything that you have to say dominates over what they have to say, as if their wisdom about life in general just isn't worth anything. And pride does that a lot. It devalues things that should be valued in favor of valuing things that should be devalued.
Yeah. We probably gonna have to do an episode on this later if we haven't done one. I don't think we've done one, but I feel like, especially regarding children and their parents, pride, it starts as pride and then it evolves into rebellion, which is something different. However, I don't think you can be a rebel without being prideful. It's pretty difficult, bro, to go against what your authority tells you without thinking you know more than your authority.
Right.
So,
Well, that's what we were talking about in Isaiah 14.
yeah.
It says again, how you are cut down to the ground because you exalted yourself up high.
Mm-hmm.
Because
That's
you
what's
thought
gonna
you knew.
happen.
You thought you knew more than your parents. You thought you knew more than your pastor. You thought you knew more than. Sometimes you think you know more than your teachers at school, the authorities that you have. You think you know more than them, so you feel like that gives you the right to voice your opinion when you should just sit there and close your mouth and listen and receive.
There's a verse in the Bible that talks about that even a fool seems wise if he seals his lips. Because like sometimes you could, the teacher could be talking about what's 24 times 2. And in your mind, you're like 36 because you're stupid. But if you have the wisdom to be like, you know what? Maybe I'm not the smartest person in this classroom. Let me wait it out. You could save yourself from saying that and getting joked on, even if you weren't smart to begin with. And you'll seem like, of course it's 48.
Bro, I've been in school too long, bro. You said 24 times 2.
Yeah.
And then in my brain, I was like, but if you think about the patterns of it, if you take 24 and multiply it and add 24 times 0.5, which is 1/2, that's 36. What's wrong with me?
A lot.
Definitely been in school.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. And then I'm looking at my degree plans. I'm like, which degrees am I closest to? I'm closest to obviously my computer science degree, which is what I'm going for, and a math degree.
Pain.
And what's crazy, I look at it, I'm like, how is there more math? I've taken Calculus 3. The courses I'd have to take are fundamentals of math, and not like the fundamentals, but like the fundamentals,
Right.
like Greece.
Yeah.
The history of math.
Not to be
Did you say
confused
Greece?
with, not con- be confused with the substance in the fryer.
Thank you.
It's
the history of mathematics.
right.
Why would I have what? I have to learn
They might
advanced calculus. What is that? I'm never. No.
Oh.
Anyway, yes.
Listen, y'all. I used to love math.
So you'd have to read books about people like Archimedes or somebody with a
Yeah,
name
yeah.
such as
It's
that.
bad, man.
With a name such as that.
It's true.
What?
I used to love math
Those are Greek names.
because 2 + 2. What's the answer? 4, right? And then in English, it would be like, why did Tom Sawyer do this? And I have to explain it.
Right.
Math, the answer was the right answer. And then I started doing math, higher level calculus math. I'm doing proofs. What's a proof? What's 2 + 2? 4. Why?
It's English.
It's over.
But it's not in
I don't want to
English.
explain math to you, but that's what I had to do. You have to write papers
Yeah.
in math. Yeah, bro. Everyone, don't take that as I shouldn't go to college. You should still go, but like, don't go for math.
Calculus 1 was the straw that broke the camel's back for me, bro.
You took it though. You
I
passed
took it. Yes, I had some other difficult classes, so I was like, I'm gonna give like an hour or two to studying math in each school day.
That was pride.
Yep. To think.
You thought he had
to
it.
think that you could, bro. Every single test, every assignment, I tried my very hardest, which is not a common thing that
Okay,
in my
stop. You didn't
school
have to
record.
say that.
I'm being for real. Hey, I could have done better in school if I tried hard, but this class, yes, I was only giving it an hour or two outside of class because I thought that was reasonable.
Word.
Tried my very hard. I got a C in that class, y'all.
Dang.
And I fought for that C too.
Calc 1.
That's it.
Can I tell y'all a really humbling story about math, and we can move on?
Let's hear
Of
it.
course.
All right. So
I
I
just realized we had a tangent about math. I was feeling it again.
just in general, I hate math. So,
Blisters.
but I was in college. It was my freshman year, and math has always been an issue with me in school, right? Well, I won't speak about some of the ways as a kid because
36.
Yeah. So, but we used to call them speed limit grades, right? 35 unless otherwise posted.
Speed limit.
Yeah, speed limit
Did I
grades.
just break the whole?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. I had to hit the table, bro. Speed limit grades. I feel you.
So
Bro,
my first year in
golly.
college, I was getting speed limit grades in math and like pre-calculus and pre-algebra and all these.
Right.
And so my mom was like, "Hey, you need to go see the professor and get tutoring."
Hey, man.
We don't do that.
Me either, bro.
I don't need no
You know,
tutoring.
I just need to study more, right?
Right.
So I humbled
Why you sound
myself
like me?
and went to the professor. He said, "Okay, if you want tutoring, you come to my office after whatever. I can't remember. It was every lunch period or whatever. I can't remember." And so, but I went every single time it was like painful to go because this dude he didn't make me feel dumb, but it was like he would give me the paper and say, "Yeah, so how do you start?" Like his test was a blank sheet of paper, a printer paper with 4 problems on it and no instructions.
Oh.
And he would give you the paper and say, "Figure out the best way to do these problems." That's how he tutored me too.
Right.
He would
Google.
say, "How would you do these problems?"
Photo math.
And I'm looking at him
Math
like,
Papa. Y'all ever heard
"Sir,"
of these? You're a cheater.
I would
Repent.
be like, I'm looking at him like, "Sir, I came to you because I don't know how to do these problems."
Symbol lab.
Right.
Right. And so every time I'm making myself go because my mom in essence told me, she said, maybe he'll have sympathy on you at the end of the semester because he saw how hard you worked and he saw how hard that you went to, to get tutoring and all these things, right? You humbled yourself. I know it wasn't easy for you to go. You went the whole semester. I was still getting speed limit grades. And so he even asked me, he said, "Hey, man, what's going on? You're not improving. Are you okay? Like, do you understand?" And I said, "No, I don't understand this."
Right.
But I kept going.
Yeah.
Finally get to the end of the semester, and I'm thinking this guy's going to have pity on me.
Right.
Because I was like, okay, I'm failing all the tests because every test that he gave had 4 problems on it, blank paper, you figure it out.
That's a sick
And it
feeling.
could be like 8 chapters that you've done different strategies to get problem solving.
Right.
And he would just give you this, right? So I would do all my homework, I would do all my class, and I would do extra. He would give me extra assignments. I would do those and turn those in. I still failed it.
Jeez.
And I did all of that, still failed it, failed math, and so I went during the summer, and I never forget. I told my mom because I never failed a class before. I said, "I'm dropping out of college."
That is a case of her
Yo.
pride. And I cannot blame
Bro,
you.
That's actually a case of humility. When humility goes wrong, I should have been prideful and got in
study.
I'm sticking it out.
Something. I don't know. I have a similar story actually, and then we can move on. I was taking this computer science course over the summer, right? So it was at UNC. So, and over the summer, you'd have to pay a lot extra to stay at the campus. So I drove from where I'm at, which I don't know if I've ever said it on the podcast, probably, but I'm not going to tell you because safety. Who knows? You might try to pull up.
Okay.
You could search my parents' name at least, find our address.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Anyway.
It's happened. I spoke about this before.
Yes. So, I was going to this class and I was doing well at the beginning, as always. But then, I say as always not to be prideful, but to say usually the start of a class is simple.
Right. Simple, yeah.
Simple, yeah. If you know who that is, shout out to you.
All right, anyway.
No, for real. That's how I got an A in calculus.
That makes precisely one of us. Let's go.
So then I'm going, it gets harder. The course is getting more difficult. And my teacher, she was a graduate student. So technically she wasn't a teacher, but she was teaching the class. So, no hate, teacher. She's always saying, if you're having trouble, we have office hours after, we have tutoring. Come in, we'll work through the problems together. And I was like, first off, nah, I'll figure it out. I got it. I'll study. And also in my brain, I was like, I don't feel like staying here any longer because I got an hour drive to go back home. So I didn't for the longest time. I was like, yeah, no, I don't need to go. I'm cool. Meanwhile, grades tanking.
Plummeting. Careening off the edge.
Those are my grades. I go to tutoring one day, right? I'm like, all right, I really need some help with this. I go in there, and it's a lot of TAs and the teacher, obviously. And they're showing
what
you
are TAs?
Teaching assistants. So basically, they're just like, the teacher's helpers. But they get paid. They're not students like us. I mean, they're students, but they're not in the class.
Right. It pays your tuition most of the time to do stuff like that.
Yeah. So anyway, no.
Like room, not tuition, but room and board, I think. No?
Maybe.
What's an RA? What when you help out with the
Maybe
RA is when you
you're
help
like
out in the dorms.
You're right. You're the hallway monitor.
Well,
Stop drinking.
You get a single.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to share a room. You don't have a roommate. They pay you. I don't think they cover room and board, bro.
I was reading something. One specific
it depends
school
on the school,
covered,
bro. Because trust me, schools are not trying to.
You're probably thinking about work study. You're probably
Maybe.
thinking about a work study.
Perhaps.
Yeah. So
Shout
I
out
go
my
to
boy CJ.
tutoring, and I ask for help about the problem. They show me how to do the problem, and they make it so simple. They make it so understandable. First off, I was still being prideful. I was like, why couldn't they do this in class?
Yeah. Hey.
No.
Hey.
It's
That
true.
is a real question.
It's true, but
Hey, since we spend 2 hours each day in class, how come we couldn't be doing that? That's real. My bad. Is that prideful?
no, that's not prideful. It was prideful of me because I said that even though they advertise office hours, I didn't go.
Okay.
So in class, they said come to office hours. I went, learned things, but it was too late for me, bro. I failed the course. At first, this is a story of like Pastor Deonta's story, but how it worked.
His name is just out there. I don't feel like censoring.
Yeah, I said it at the beginning. I said Pastor Scott the first time. Now you know his whole name, Scott Deonta. So
It is 2 first names. Hey.
all right. So then, my teacher, because I went to office hours, and because she was just cool, bro, she had pity on me. The semester is over. Everyone else got their grade. Class done. She said, I will let you turn these assignments in late so you can pass.
Ooh.
Not only that, she set up meeting times so that we could come in together, look at each assignment, and she still was going to help me with all of them. I did pass that course after that. Shout out. I'm not going to say your name, obviously. But shout out to you. I don't know if you're ever going to find this. That would be crazy.
Before we keep moving,
Oh, gosh.
See, that's the difference, though, between men and women. See, my teacher was a male teacher.
Yeah.
He was like,
I don't care.
I helped you, bro.
I have a story like that, too.
oh, quick. Hey, build good relationships with your teachers, your supervisors, anybody who you should, because it will help you.
I don't know. I've probably told this story on the podcast. I'm gonna tell it again because it's funny. I had a teacher, a male teacher, my calculus teacher, who we just shouted out. I got an A. Anyway, I took this test, right? Everything. Ooh, it looked good. I go to turn it in. He says, "You have to do it on the paper." So essentially, he's like, "Do not turn in the sheet. Here, I give you scratch paper. You do it on the scratch paper." So I'm like, I already did it. Fine. I copy everything over. I copy one thing, and I'm like, I don't think I put the parentheses in the right spot. Moved it. What an idiot move. Idiot move. Now, this might hurt some of y'all's feelings. Not hurt your feelings, but you're gonna be looking at me. You give me a side eye. Basically, I turn it in. The parentheses was wrong. So, just a massive mistake. Unbelievable. I get a 99. Trash. Sorry. I still did good, but I wanted that perfect score because I then showed the teacher, I said, look, when I was going to turn it in, it was right. Then you made me change it. It was wrong. He gonna say, let me tell you a story. Back when I was in university.
Oh, no. I think you have told this story on the podcast.
It's still funny.
I want to hear it. I don't remember it.
I was taking a test. It was a test to go into graduate school, yeah? And I finish, I do the test. I'm the first one done. Everyone else, they are still working. I tell my teacher, I turn it in. He said, are you sure? I said, yeah. At the time I smoked. He's telling me this. At the time I smoked. So I go out to take my smoke break. I come back. And then apparently it was like a Scantron, yeah, or something. So the grades are in. I look at my grade, it's horrible. I had to say that in American accent. I didn't know how to do that.
Speed limit grade. Fahrenheit grade.
He gonna tell me.
Celsius grade.
Turns out there was a bug in the test. I did not turn the test over. My teacher did not tell me. And I got a bad grade. I asked him, I said, please, sir, let me take the other half of the test. He said, no. So I will not change your grade. And then I was like, thanks.
See, that's the difference. See, that female teacher you had, she probably, he could probably be my son, or he could probably be my nephew. So she saw you in that, like, so she had sympathy on you. These male teachers,
sucks for you, dude.
Yeah, they be like,
they be like, bro, I had to struggle.
Yeah,
so guess what?
You're gonna have to struggle. So especially,
it's a hard world.
I'm assuming your teacher was from Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Côte d'Ivoire,
now,
Ivory Coast.
The teacher that I referenced, he was not. He was from America. But I had an African teacher named Frank Nani.
Shout out Frank Nani.
So. If you ever hear this, we do this like lightning.
No way!
Oh,
yeah. My teacher
gosh.
said the same thing, like lightning.
Yeah. So
and we kill it.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So on Fridays, did y'all have parties?
Nah.
Okay, that's what he used to call his test on Friday. He say, Friday we have a party, and then he say, but guess what? You can use the book.
Shout out.
My calculus instructor would say, we got a celebration of knowledge. I'm like, oh my gosh.
You gonna do it again.
I'm sorry. I'm about to break I'm sorry. There was no knowledge to be celebrated on my part.
Hey, bro. A party of knowledge. So, yeah.
We just talked about math forever. So. We just talked about, episode 59, math. You're right.
Yeah, he gave a story of pride.
Pride and math.
And I gave a story about humility going wrong.
Yep. Okay, let's speed run.
We don't got to speed run. It's a pastor's perspective.
You're right. Let's speed right into this next subject.
We're only an hour in. We got like a half hour.
Word. Okay, so obviously this is a Christian podcast. Hopefully it's obvious. And a lot of
what a pastor on here, I would hope so.
Yeah, right.
This is the pastor's perspective, so even more finely tuned. All the things that we do or a lot of the things that we do involve the church, especially in our involvement with one another. The only reason we know you, sir, is from church. Now, it's a very personal connection, very personal commitments to church, but we know each other through church, right? And the thing about church is that we got ministries in church, and a lot of what they say about ministry is that you minister who you are. The character that you have is what is coming out into everything that you're doing. Who you are.
I had to say it. My fault.
And if who you are is prideful, it can affect your ministry in some way. Now, ministry is on two fronts, like we always talk about. It could be like the concept of ministering, which is like passing on discipline to others. And then there's ministry, like how it's defined in a church setting, which is like certain tasks that are performed, like being on stage, doing certain stuff, preaching, doing music, or being in charge of something somewhere, nursery, cleaning, whatever.
Yeah.
How does pride affect those two areas of study?
How does pride affect?
Why don't we just go with the notes?
What two areas of study?
The ministry, like passing on what you got to others as far as the gospel and everything, and also just
type deal.
being in positions in the church and stuff like that.
All right, so if you're prideful as a person, you won't disciple people, because that's ultimately what we do at everything that we do. If you got leaders in place, they should be discipling people. That is developing people to, either backfill them or to be as they are. And so if you're prideful, you won't do that. You'll actually stifle people's growth because you think you're better, number one,
right?
And you think you're the only one that can do what you can do. Yeah. And so that will kill a church or a ministry quicker than anything. When you feel, because you need people to want to follow you. Nobody wants to follow a prideful person,
right?
A man, woman, it does not matter. They don't want to follow you because the simple fact of your pride is going to tell you always that you're better than them, and that your way is better. You're not going to, the ministry's not going to die because you're never going to accept criticism. You're never going to do self-evaluation. You will never take advice from other people. You won't take their input, and so you won't cultivate a culture of growth because you feel like everything starts and stops with you. So
you want to be the exclusive one. You don't want to be replaced.
Correct.
And then other people, you could teach them something that you find valuable, but instead you go the other route. Like, oh no, they can't handle that. They're not like me. I can't teach them the disciplines of prayer because they are but babes in Christ. Sure. Prayer is just for me. Just ask me if you want prayer, but don't. I feel you.
I think it's a little deeper than that. I think it's they'll never get it because they're carnal. A prideful person will always cast it. They'll be blind to their own sin, but they'll see their sin on other people.
Right.
So they'll look at other people and point. It's like that plank, right? The plank in their eye when this person got a speck in their eye, but you got a plank sticking out of yours, right? They'll always look at somebody and be able to, man, shoot, that guy, he ain't a spiritual bone in his body, but you ain't read your Bible in 3 months. You don't pray. You go in the prayer room to look like you're doing something.
Right.
Yeah.
So the pride offers a false sense of security.
Correct.
For you to be free with all your time to go and hate on everybody else.
Correct.
Word. In the other sense, ministry in terms of being in a position, like, for example, and though it's a little bit more lenient in this instance, but like being on this podcast requires a certain level of, not lenient to whoever's going to host it or take over, but like if we're going to have a guest on, we want all perspectives. So I don't think we're going to be like, well, actually, how saved are you? You can't get on,
Yeah.
We just want to hear from you. However you whoever you are.
If you're super prideful, come embarrass yourself. We won't say anything. Let the commenters have a party.
If you're super prideful, join a club, bro. I know that about myself. I'm a prideful individual. If you can't tell, it's because I do what I can to compensate for it. I try to stay humble. I try. It's hard sometimes, but I do try my hardest because I know that's a facet of my personality. Sometimes I can feel like.
So Pastor Campbell preached a sermon one time and he talked about people who are humbly proud. So are you saying that that's you?
I never heard that sermon. So.
Good answer, bro. Bro said, I am not claiming that. What kind of person did he describe, bro? You passed the test.
No. So basically, what he talked, because I was humbly proud, so that's why I asked. And so, I have a story about that. So, in the church that I grew up in, we used to do children's or youth choir anniversaries, right? And that's every year we would have when the choir was formed, we'd do a kind of like a concert, what we do here, but it was a gospel concert. And I would always do the closing song, which was the headline song. Mm-hmm. And they let me do that because, of course, I was a little bit more animated than all the other kids. I was brave enough to pull off Kirk Franklin songs. I don't know if I said this in the last episode, but I said it somewhere. And so I played like I didn't care if people came and said, "Oh, you did a good job," right, or whatever. I would go to the back and just kind of hang out, like, oh, just another day at the office. But I would really like want people to come up to me and be like, "Man, that was great. You killed it." Blah blah blah, whatever they're gonna say. And so I would put myself in people's path so they would say it, so they would compliment, so they would, I would do certain things in those performances. So, man, they got to remember this one.
Word.
I'd go down the aisle, something that we hadn't rehearsed. I'd go down the aisle singing to the people in the crowd or getting people hype or whatever the case may be. Something that we would do in a concert setting, but it's not fitting for a gospel choir setting.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And so I would try to do those things because a lot of times I grew up in a small country town. So a lot of times you didn't see people outside of school because people didn't come to your house like that. Yeah. But in those gospel choir, I think the people from my school would come, and people who didn't know I could sing, people who didn't know I could do these, I had these abilities, right? Yeah. So then now I got to give them something to go back to school and talk about. But I don't want to come, "Hey, how you think I did?" Right. Okay. I'm not doing that. But I'm gonna come up, "Hey man, oh man, I didn't know you was in this church or what church you go to," and just to get in their path. Yeah. Oh man, hey bro, that was fire what you did. Blah blah blah. I didn't know you could sing. I wanted to hear those. Yeah. I'm acting humble. Right. But I'm really wanting my pride, my ego.
That's humbly proud.
Yep.
Yeah, that ain't me.
It's a good thing you clarified.
That's not me. No, I think. You wanted to go?
I was just going to mention sometimes people will put on their best fit. They tried their hardest to say nothing. And it's like you're done talking. It's like they still standing there. They're posing a little bit. Or a girl do her hair a certain way. Be standing around. Like,
are we doing this?
I'm making funny motions, y'all, over here, like impersonating. I just realized y'all can't see me.
You can't see him.
Just kind of standing around. It's like, all right.
Say something about my outfit.
Yeah.
Video coming soon.
Nah, bro. I don't know if we'll ever do a video podcast. Elijah's ashamed of his face. He doesn't like the way it looks.
Yo. Where did you get this? Dang. I might have to log out, y'all.
No, Elijah.
Mid-episode subtraction.
I don't remember what he said. He said something about you'd have to dress up. Or we wouldn't be able to record in sweatpants and stuff anymore.
Fun fact.
Potentially.
I think this is the first episode ever recorded and everyone's in dress clothes. We all got ties on right now.
Yeah.
Yo, this is their business.
We are humbly proud. We want people to tell us how good our outfits
tell us how nice we look. But no.
You know what? We're turning on the video just for this one.
In terms of the pride stuff, humbly proud, I think God nerfed me, bro, on purpose. He made me.
Define nerfed.
I was just about to say you
define
got
nerfed for the oldies.
Okay.
That
so
nerfed you.
I don't know.
You don't know what that means either.
No,
I don't know the actual origin, but I think I know. It's like imagine a gun, right?
Oh,
a gun can shoot and kill, okay,
destroy and steal.
But let's say I take your gun and I give you a Nerf gun. you have been nerfed. You've been downgraded in a way, or you've been given a handicap, a limit.
The effect of your characteristic has been downplayed.
Yes. So
Your capabilities has been
my
captured,
capability of being prideful and being whatever, God, I think, has nerfed it. He's nerfed me by making me an incredibly shy person. I know you guys are thinking about all the ministries I'm in. You're like going through them like, he's in this, he's in this. He's not shy. He's lying. I'm not.
Conclusion.
I'm not. I swear I'm shy. And that's, I think, what has helped me to be in these ministries, because there's no possibility of me. Like when people tell me, man, Isaiah, you did a great job. I appreciate it, but it makes me want to stop doing it forever.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's like, I don't want to be acknowledged for this. Why have you said this? Please forget I was ever up there. So
understandable.
In that regard, hey, bro, God set me up in a way where I'm not going to have too many issues. But
thanks, God. Appreciate you.
But of course, it's not all roses. There's some times where the pride I have will come out. I'll tell it in the story later. But going back to these ministries I'm in, and these ministries that people want to be a part of, extending past the Fly podcast into song service, nursery, preaching, door director, in a concert, whatever.
I thought you were saying anaconda. I was like, we don't got that around. My bad. Go ahead though.
So why say it? You could have left that in your brain. In terms of these ministries, a lot of times before people won't. I'm gonna just read what the notes say. Pride makes people feel entitled to ministry. They think so highly of themselves that they will compare themselves to the people that are in ministry and say they're better. My dad actually has a story about this, where he was saying back when he was pioneering. What's pioneering? Go back to episode 4.
Blazing a trail.
You'll hear all about pioneering.
You said blazing a trail. I was about to say, what song was that?
No. We didn't have a song because it was a pastor's perspective. He was saying that he was preaching. He used to preach. He preached a sermon, and he saw this lady. She was new. She came in. He was like, "Oh, she thought it was good," and she came up to him, and he was like, "Okay, what's she gonna say? She's probably gonna congratulate, say that was a good sermon," because that's what a lot of people do. They'll go and tell their pastor that they did a good job, which I mean, it's fine. You know, shout out your pastor.
And we appreciate it every time.
Yeah, I don't do it. I never tell anyone good job, but that's because I'm a hater. That's not true. It's because sometimes you did a good job, but when I tell you, it has to be like exemplary, because then you really know I mean it. Because if you say it every time, you think I mean, maybe you thought I did a good job every time.
There's 2 sermons that I preached that you came up and was like, that was good, and I was like, oh, that must have been good then.
You see, it works. He knows exactly, Anyway, so she comes up and she's like, he hands him, I think it was a letter. He's like, okay, what's in this letter? He opens this letter. It's talking about how his sermon could have been better. Detailed points, and this part, you probably should have said this, and that wasn't that great. And when I heard that, I was like, I thought for sure you were going in this direction. And then you went here, mistake. Hey, bro. And I'm telling you, there are people, you guys listening who go to church, there might be people sitting right next to you who are thinking all them things in their brain, bro. They're looking at your pastor and they're like, yeah, I wouldn't have done it that way. If I was preaching that sermon, it would have been every single person when it come to the altar. Even myself. Yeah. I would have felt the need to go myself to the altar because that would have been such a fire sermon.
I would have had to turn around and just get down and start praying.
I would have had to repent for the sins I might commit later in the future. That's
honestly,
how good.
If I preach that sermon, the devil might have to get saved.
I mean, if I preach that sermon, bro, God's gonna have to close hell up.
They're gonna have to delete it. No one's going.
It's over. Hey, bro, I can't believe this, but that's pride, man. Pride is nasty. Pride is gross to behold. It'll make you seem. It's not admirable. People, they have to admire themselves because nobody else gonna do it.
Yep.
But to the point of such grandiose grandeur, got them, that they think they're just incredible. It could be anything. It could be they go to a concert. Man, that song, man, they should have let me up there.
Okay, I've said that many times, but not serious. They should have put me on there. I would have been like, But anyway, my bad. I shouldn't have said any of that either. All right, go ahead. Yep.
Pride.
Stop saying that.
My fault. You want me to turn your mic back on?
Oh my.
Maybe they go. They see someone sweeping. Have they never heard of a pointer broom? I would have brought mine from home, and I would have definitely swept this up in way less time.
Is that a real thing? A pointer broom?
Yes, sir.
Oh man.
It's a legendary broom.
Oh man.
That might have been real.
That's
If
the weapon of the
that's your
Dragon
actual
Warrior.
thoughts, maybe you're not being prideful. Maybe you're right.
Maybe you're just correct.
Yeah, a pointer broom. You got to look it up. It's like,
Yeah, I'd have to look.
imagine like a straw broom. Take the stick off, and you hold it in your hand, and it's like.
Imagine the glory of the Lord with the flick of your
That
wrist.
sounds like a workout. That's okay.
But
But that thing,
it go. That's
Yeah.
what they use in Guyana.
I
Anyway,
don't know who discovered
Your
it.
forearms will be
It's true.
massive.
they strong out there. That's how they fish. You know how we fish with a.
Mm.
They got like a long rope with like a hook on the end, and then like a weight, and they'll like a lasso to y'all who's listening and can't see me.
Like David.
Yep. Cast it like that.
Fly fishing.
Sure. But I mean that's it though. There's no poles. There's no rods.
Bro said pose.
I said poles because I'm talking to Pastor
So,
Deonta.
but I want to bring this up because what you said about having the ability and then using it or not using it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you guys first came, and the first time, I mean, I knew your dad could sing, but the first time I heard all of y'all sing together, I was like, oh, this is good. Like, all three of them are musically gifted, right? And remember, I kept coming to you. I was like, Isaiah, you should do this. Isaiah, you should sing this song, or you should lead song service, or whatever the case may be. I was always trying to get you to do something, right? And I was like, because you have the ability to do these things. Like, you have the ability. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, he has the ability. Why won't he do these things, right? He has the ability to make songs. He has the ability to sing. He has and then when as the closer our relationship started getting, I started to understand, okay, it's not necessarily that he's like prideful to the point where he's like, I'm too good for that. I'm above that. You know, it wasn't that. It was simply the fact of, you, like you said, you're shy.
Yeah.
You don't like to be in front of people. You know, even though you have the ability to do all of these things, that don't necessarily mean that I want to take all the shine, if you will. Because then you have the adverse of that. You have people who have those abilities, who can sing, who can write music, and I mean, they want everybody to know.
Yeah.
They think just because they have the ability. But think about this. They never grow spiritually because just they rely on their talent the whole time. It's like a athlete who never practices.
Mm-hmm.
But then they get old.
Yeah.
And then when they get old, talent only takes you so far.
Right.
Ability and gifting only take you so far. You need to have the nuts and bolts in it to be able to,
Yeah.
progress.
Then there's the third ugliest side where you don't have the ability, but you do still want to show everyone that you do.
Thanks,
and that
Elijah.
is actually common too.
That's false pride.
Yeah, that's crazy.
that's
That's
delusion.
the highest level of pride. Delusion.
I was just about to say that. Yes,
Stop.
that is it. That is delusion.
Moving on.
I wasn't even doing that. You did that all by yourself.
So moving on.
No, hold on. Before you move on, I'm going to tell a story because I have a story about that.
about delusion.
I'm not going to give out any names because I'm going to protect the innocent. About delusion. Yes. So there was a person. We had an event. There was a person, and they really, really thought they could sing. They didn't have the ability nor
Right.
the talent.
Yeah.
But you could not tell them that they cannot sing. So they were allowed to sing.
Ooh.
And everyone knew that it was not the best.
Ooh.
But we had a habit of hyping up any and everyone that got on stage. We thought we were doing someone a favor. Our pastor comes back there and rebukes the snot out of us.
Yo.
He says to us, why would you do that? Why would you inflate pride when you see pride on display? He said you're just as bad as the person that's up there being prideful.
If someone gets a rebuke for complimenting, nah, bro,
You can't sing.
You're done. You're done.
No, it wasn't that we were. So you know how at a concert when people get up there and they're think about when people do the fast twister type style rapping where they're rapping.
Yeah.
You don't know what they're saying. You don't know what they're saying, but everybody's in the back like, come on, yeah, and they're cheering them on. You have that song didn't minister to you because you don't know what they said.
Right.
Word.
So this wasn't the case with this person. They were singing a song. You understood all the words. They just could not sing at all. Right?
Ooh.
And so we're in the back.
My fault. I'm not.
Yeah, come on. Yeah. And so it is inflaming the pride that is on. And so now they really start going after notes that they have no business going after. They start doing things that they have no business doing.
Yo.
I've seen, because it's like, okay, now my pride is I really can't. Now it's like they're hearing Mandisa in the microphone.
Rest in peace.
Yes, R.I.P. But they're hearing her in the microphone. They're hearing Overcomer in the microphone, but it's really Ice JJ Fish.
Wow. If y'all know him, y'all are OGs.
So yeah,
I had something like that happen at my place of secondary education. Right, that's what it's called, primary education. Wait, it's secondary if you're British, right? High school,
primary school.
You mean middle school?
No, sir.
See, I'm confused.
In high school.
Secondary school. You might be right.
There was a certain girl who just couldn't sing. She just couldn't at all, not even close. Okay. And all of her friends hyped her up a lot. Every time she sang, they were like, "Oh yeah," and then
interjection. Are those good friends or bad friends?
Bad friends. And knowing that she couldn't sing, whenever the subject of singing came up, they always brought her up. Like, oh yeah, she sings a lot. Yeah, man, she loves singing.
Maybe they think she's good.
No.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. But I heard what they say about her before I heard her sing. And she looked like she can sing. I don't know what that means, but she looked like she could sing. I was like, oh, that's cool. But then we have a program at school for February.
For February? Is Black History Month related?
Black History Month. She
sang bad for black people?
She's
It's
not
over.
black though. So we're doing this program. Oh, shout out to Mr. Lance, bro. I contacted him 1 week before this event. I was like, yo, this event is like half music based. They have no music, and it's about to be these bad singers up here singing. Would you like to come with your expertise and play the steel pans? A few. And he did. They gave him a whole presentation slideshow. He got introduced. I was like, hey, this guy from my church is at school. That's cool. Anyway.
Nice.
So shout out to him for the short notice answer. I know he'd be listening sometimes. Anyway, we have this production. They do speeches, poetry, and it gets to the music part. And because this girl has been told so much how she can sing, she has full confidence, like no shame, no fear in the world. Like she goes up there, no trembling, no nothing. She sings this song. It really felt like it was about 12 minutes long of singing. And it was so bad. We were like, I was sitting there focused. I was like, I'm not going to laugh because I realized that when she first started singing, this is going to be terrible. And I was like, I'm not going to laugh. You know, she's just a girl trying to do what she's trying to do. And I was really holding it in. It was too easy. I was thinking about other stuff. This dude next to me started dying. Like it was bad because he wasn't being obnoxious and trying to make everyone laugh. He was trying his best not to laugh, and then it just starts coming out. And once it starts coming out, there's no way. And so then there's this lady, one of the administrators. She's sitting in our row, and she's in the middle of shushing. She starts bursting out laughing, bro. I'm so serious. I'm so serious. She's like, and she's embarrassed. She's so embarrassed because you don't. She's like, look, guys. She's telling us with this big grin. She's like, look, guys, her parents are right there. Don't laugh. We're all dying. We were losing. I'm sorry. We were losing it in there.
So hold on, real quick.
Yes.
What did the parents do?
Nothing.
Laugh. No.
They looked mistrustingly at the students whenever they were leaving and kind of like gave her a comforting hug. I felt horrible. I'm so serious. I felt so bad.
You ever seen them T-shirts? Bring back bullying. Hey, bro.
Hey.
She'll never try again.
Hey, because that was worse than just being told in the hallway, hey, that singing sucked. Hey, you should try rap. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody would. Maybe don't try rap. She didn't look like she was good at rapping.
You see you see.
Okay, all right. I'm not carrying on with that. Hey, I'm not carrying on. I'm not letting you trap me with your ways.
Who looks like they can rap?
LeBron James. All right. Anyway. Anyway. Moral of the story. She had no fear because her pride had been inflated by the cheering of others. She was ready to hear the cheering. She heard silence and then a wave of laughter, and it ruined her day.
You see, you know what would have helped you not laugh?
What's that?
If you cheered.
Stop. No, I would have been like, yeah. And then just, yeah.
No, you wouldn't have been laughing. I'm so serious. Because, and this is why I was interested in your story, because even though it's different because it's called the No Talent Show.
Right.
So that's cool. But sometimes, like let's say I don't want to use any examples. So let's say I'm older and I have a daughter or a son, a daughter, whatever. And she's up there and she's singing and she don't sound good. I'm pretty sure everyone's going to be a daughter that's young, right?
Right.
We're still going to all cheer. It might be funny a little bit, but then we all cheer. Nobody's laughing no more because we're happy. We're hype. Same thing if like, let's say, somebody's grandma goes up and sings. She grown. Okay. So we can't, there's no cuteness factor.
No, there's cuteness for old people. Adorability.
Pretend there isn't.
What's the word? Go ahead though.
Adoration.
Something. Anyway,
I want to say I got an adoration.
She got up there. People. She starts singing. Like, you ever seen that clip with Steph Curry when someone was singing the national anthem?
Yes, and he's
trying his hardest. Anyway, imagine they're singing. Yes. Why can't I remember how the national anthem goes? I was about to say, "Oh Canada."
Wow,
that's the wrong national anthem.
He's Drake. It was Aubrey Graham.
Oh, say, can you see?
Oh, can you see, honey?
By the dawn's early light. And they're really singing like that. You gonna laugh? Maybe.
Yes.
But if you're cheering, you're like, woo!
Okay.
Like, obviously you don't cheer during the national anthem. But if it was a different song and they're singing it like that, you would cheer. You're not gonna laugh. So then
I feel like cheer laughter would not be too offensive.
I feel like that's supporting. That's supportive, right? You're not. Are you inflating their pride, as Sir's previous pastor said? Maybe, but it depends on where you're at, bro.
I think it depends on the attitude of the person performing as well.
Okay,
because if they're after it for the spotlight, and then you're giving them the spotlight, knowing how they feel about it.
That's what I was gonna say.
Gotcha.
I was definitely gonna because this is a pastor's perspective. Mm-hmm. From my pastor's perspective, he had inside information that we didn't.
Yeah,
and he knew that. Okay, you're not gonna don't boo her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man, I said her, but don't boo the person. Right?
That's cool.
Don't boo the person. But at the same time, don't egg this on, because you see, whereas the person started out, they thought they could sing before, but because we're egging it on, now they think they can sing way better than what they even dreamed.
Right.
So now every time that this comes up, they're gonna think, "Oh, I'm gonna get up here and perform," and you're gonna make the conversation of whoever the ministry leader is having to say, "Hey, not this time," or "Hey, maybe you should try drama.
Maybe you should rap.
Try rap.
Yeah, you're gonna make their job that much harder, because that person is gonna think, well, why wouldn't you want to put me on? Everybody
So and so
cheers.
loves my
Man,
Everybody
man.
cheers.
That's a hard job.
Yeah. Never.
The other pastor.
So being song service leader, I've been song service leader. You have to you have to learn how to manage pressure.
Nope.
There's a lot of
there's a lot of pride. There's a lot of pride in song service.
No, you need to schedule overtime around the people that can't sing and be like, "Oh, I keep forgetting to add."
Well,
We need to cut
the thing you do in song service. Number one, is you don't have your dad. He said that you don't have people in song service who cannot sing. You just don't do that. You're doing the church a disservice.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Thanks, Elijah.
I'm sorry.
yeah. You
That's why they kicked Elijah out, actually.
yeah. You don't have people in song. I mean, okay, because audience.
Listeners.
Just because it's the church and everybody's supposed to be Christian and nice and all that, I understand all that. But at the same time, there are standards,
Amen.
right? It's like if you went to your job and your boss came to work every day and he had no idea of the processes, you could tell clearly your boss was disqualified to be your boss. You're not going to respect him because you're like, okay, you shouldn't be in this position.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you had a choir full of people that just could not sing, they sounded terrible. Nobody's gonna look to the choir for any kind of worship. What worship is bringing in the presence of God. Nobody's gonna believe that the presence of God is gonna come down in that.
Yeah.
They're not gonna believe it. So you have to be honest with people versus inflating pride that's already there. Because again, a lot of times with song service and people in song service, sometimes pride rears its ugly head a lot.
Yeah. That's real.
A lot. They want their own speaker, their own monitor. They want to hear themselves. Turn me up.
They
in
do the finger ear
headphones.
thing. Yep. And look up at the sky.
That's real. No. That's real, though. That's how you hear yourself.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, no, I get that, but
Some people really, really want
just-
to.
they just
yeah,
wanna
but
look
some
that
people
way.
only. Okay, so we don't have a choir here,
Right.
right? But we have a song service duo or trio at times. So there's harmonies that go on. Well, if harmonies are blended voices,
Right.
so if you think your voice should be the only voice that's heard, you're not going to worry about blending anything.
Fact.
You're not going to worry about working with your partner to make sure it's one sound. You're not going to do that. You're going to worry about everybody needs to hear me because I'm the voice.
Yep.
That's real.
Right? So that's how pride works in certain ministries.
Yeah. If any of you who are listening are in song service, bro, we appreciate you so much. Because obviously, if you're in it, that means we're not talking about you.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And
100%.
as part of any team, humble people make just the most valuable assets because you don't have to worry about working all around. They're just reliable.
They gonna do it.
And our
Doesn't get
song,
better than that.
and praise God, our song service is anointed, so we don't have that thing.
Yeah.
We don't have that issue. Yep.
Facts. Moving on to our next point, real quick. Oh wait, no, we haven't said this yet. Sometimes the pride, like we've been talking about, it comes when you don't necessarily have the skills and abilities, but you've hyped yourself up to a point where you think you have deluded yourself. I love that word. I think it goes.
I hate that word right now.
It goes being like proud, like I'm proud, I'm prideful, I'm delusional. I think that's the perfect tier list.
No, that's what we were just talking about, though, the delusional person.
Yeah. So
hate that
going
word
back
right now.
down to the prideful person, it might be. I'm just catching that you've been saying this every single time. It might be somebody who does have the ability, but they don't. In order to be in ministry, there's a spiritual standard you have to meet. And sometimes when they're told, yeah, you're not ministry material, they will want to bring up, I sing better than her and him and her and him, and I preach better than them and them. I clean better than Inamata. That's not what we're asking for.
Right.
Of course, that's great. We love those things, but they're not first. Of course, they're not first. First, you got to be saved. You got to be a reliable, accountable, in service. Sometimes, bro, people don't be coming to church. They're like
they show up. Put me in, coach.
They come in sometimes.
Yeah,
but it's like, bro, I don't know if you're gonna be there. How I can't rely on you. Or I don't know if we've said this on the podcast before, but like we take account of tithes and offerings and stuff like that. That's also looked at in terms of being in ministry. Fun fact: if you didn't know that, you got time to fix it. Hey, bro, I haven't had to worry about it yet because I pay my 10% all the time.
Let's go.
Because 10% of zero is zero.
Okay. No way.
I got to get my racks up,
bro. Why did you drop that at the end? That's crazy. So relatable. Golly.
Get my racks up.
Amen. Y'all need to pray.
But moving on, sometimes you meet the spiritual standard. You have the ability. We see you have good qualities. So then, guess what? You can come to ministry. Why y'all laughing?
You ain't have to say that.
My fault. They can hear you.
Okay.
So anyway, but then sometimes the pride comes from being in the ministry. So before we're talking about pride being what's keeping you out or being why you think you should be in it. But sometimes you weren't prideful before. But now that you've been given this opportunity, you've been subjected. I'm trying to find a way to say it's not like you have the privilege of serving, but now you're making it into a status thing. So I have a story. I'm not going to say the pastor's name just because I don't want to. Word. Although I think you literally said his name earlier, but it don't matter. There's a pastor who, I don't know if I've told this story recently, not on the podcast, but I don't remember if it was to you or someone else. Okay. So there was a pastor who he had been preaching for a long time. He's that guy for real. Honestly, I'm allowed to say that. He can't say that. That's prideful. I say that. That's praise. He's cool, bro. He's like legendary almost. That's what when you begin. That's where the voice comes, even though it don't sound nothing like him.
Shout out to those who have.
You see,
what's the opposite of proof?
How about you think before you speak? Then you would know what to say.
Shout out to the people. Shout out to the people who have disclaimed that voice. But that word sucks. Like someone with expertise who actually knows what they're talking about and disclaims what you're talking about.
Denounce.
Yes, there you go.
Who have denounced
Shout out
that
to the
voice.
people who have denounced that voice.
Anyway, I'm not shouting y'all out. I don't know why I helped him find the word for that.
I'm a fan of the voice.
It's funny.
When you begin.
Anyway, so legendary to us anyway. Great preacher.
He's on Wikipedia.
Great pastor. He is on Wikipedia. He has some books out. Check him out. I haven't told you who he is, so you won't be able to find out. But who knows? Anyway,
sounds like your dad.
No, he has no books out.
But he got it.
Oh my God! I'm trying to think of him writing a book. He would be, sleepless. Gosh,
already sleepless.
Oh, exactly. He'd be writing sermons. So moving on. I'm not telling y'all that. So moving on.
Good move.
He has this repertoire, bro. He has this history, this reputation. There's the word of being a great preacher, and I'm sure he's heard this rep. He probably knows it. Now, he is a very humble person. Now, but at the time of this story, there was a time where he was going to minister. He was going to preach for someone else, right? He goes up there. He has a sermon all planned out. He's ready, bro. He's like, oh, yeah. I'm going to just say his name, bro. I'm Pastor Campbell. I do this. It's time. It's time to go out there. Like, remember what we were talking about earlier? If I was preaching, the devil would get saved. Hey, bro, I don't know if he was thinking that crazy, but he was definitely feeling himself in this moment. That's how he tells the story. So then he goes up. It's his time, offering whatever, it's over. Let's greet Pastor Campbell to come minister the word. And and it's Pastor Campbell. So everybody's like, yes, hype. My fault.
Bro, just unplug everything. Yes, Windows. Anyway, my bad.
He gets up there. He's like, yeah, it's time. It's time to get these people saved. He get up there. He grabbed the mic. This is him. Hold on. Starts flipping through his notes.
The audience.
They looking at him like, we're waiting.
The other side of the audience.
And then Pastor Campbell said, in that moment, God spoke to him. He said, I don't remember exactly the quote, so I'm going to say it in Isaiah form, bro. I'm sorry. But he looks at him, tells him, it's me. Basically saying, hey, bro, ain't nobody here for you. Remember, you're preaching my word. Don't ever forget that. All right. And then essentially, after he had to get that reprimand, that rebuke, then he all of a sudden his mind cleared up and he was able to preach once more. But now from a better perspective of, I'm preaching to get souls saved. I'm not preaching to look cool.
Right.
It's not about me.
Wasn't there? Am I fibbing, or wasn't there like an old lady that was like, "Help him, Lord," and then and then he started going. I'm being for real.
I think so. Yeah.
I think that's part of the story.
I think so.
Yes, bro.
Help him, Lord.
Yeah, and that bro, that was a paid actress from God to sell the point.
Angel.
Like, hey, like just so y'all know,
The Lord helped him.
The Lord helped him, and now he
Indeed.
preaching that fire.
Help him, Lord.
Okay, not Yzma.
Pull the lever, Crow. Help him, Lord. That's the Pastor Campbell voice. And when you begin, help him, Lord. To help him, Lord.
That is definitely not Pastor Campbell.
I know, but it's not even close.
That's Pastor Gandalf.
All right. So
Pastor
that's a time he was in ministry.
I ain't never read Harry Potter.
And of course, I mean, we're talking about Pastor Campbell. If you don't know who Pastor Campbell is, you can literally Google him. So that's kind of crazy in itself. Anyway, he's that guy. I think so. I don't idolize him or anything like that, but he's cool. He's that guy. In the same way, I think Pastor Scott's that guy. I think my dad's that guy. I think all my pastors are that guy because they've been my pastors, so that means they're that guy. Well, I don't think my dad's that guy because he's my pastor, bro. I think he's my dad, so he's really that guy, bro.
He's that guy.
He's like,
what every father wants to hear. It's too bad he's not going to listen to this.
yeah, he's fired. No, anyway, but yeah, sometimes you are in ministry, you are doing God's will, you're doing a good job, but because you're doing a good job, you start to think it's me doing the good job. So maybe I should get a little bit more clout from this. Maybe I should get my own parking spot.
Okay.
Maybe I should get an office if you don't have an office.
If you will.
If you will. Now we have a question. What happens to bystanders when prideful people remain in ministry?
Good question. So let's take it back to Isaiah. Not you, but the story in the Bible where they're talking about Lucifer, right? So there are bystanders, right? We know that not only does Satan deceive himself, but Satan deceived a multitude of angels in the heavenly realm.
Yep.
And so what happened is they got the same punishment he got. Just like he got disqualified from heaven and all the promises of God, so did they. So oftentimes, unfortunately, those are called casualties of war because we're in a spiritual war, right? And so that's and if those people don't get their hearts right, if they don't see the pride, if they don't see pride being, invoked and all that, then the same thing can happen to them. They can go down in fiery flames with the leader. So that is why it's important that we don't, as pastors, that's why it's important. Some people come to us sometimes and we'll say, not right now. or hey, let's give it a little bit, or hey, why don't you say things like, let's see, I'll be really good at song service. I could sing, man, out of this world, right? We had a guy at my church. There's a quick story when I was pioneering, and this dude came in. He could sing, but so doing the how you play the piano during the altar call, and he would sit there in the altar call. He'd be like, Lord Jesus.
Oh God!
Just doing little humming riffs, right?
Yes.
And he was doing that because
Jesus.
he wanted
That's got to be a button.
he wanted to show off his singing ability, right? His ad libs and stuff, right? And his ability to lead or something. And so I had told him, I said, listen. I said, just keep coming to church, serve God, man, love God, right? And we'll see, right? He was like, because I really want to join. Because it was like 3 services straight. He's like, I really want to join y'all up there. Yeah. If I would ask him anything, I could ask him, how you like the service today? It was good, but if I could join y'all up there, so that's what he wanted to be. And long story short, he didn't make it, and he ended up in jail not too long after that. But it's like. It's like your heart. Imagine if I would have instilled him as a song service leader.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If he ended up in jail less than a month, after being in church, where would he have led those people? And I don't know all that happened in his jail situation. I don't know all that's going on. But let's just think. Clearly, he's doing something that's sinful.
Right.
So you minister who you are. Correct? We talked about that. So when you minister who you are, a little leaven leavens the whole lump. So the people around you can end up being influenced by the same sin. The sin you don't judge will be the sin you embrace.
Fact. That's real.
I had to turn my torso to hit that button. That's why I was late.
That's what.
Why you sitting sideways?
Short and long story short story long. That's what happened to the other people who are the bystanders. If they don't judge the sin, they're doomed to embrace or repeat that sin.
Right. I've seen it at times where it will create a culture. So one person is after the spotlight, and then someone new comes in and sees them, and it's like, oh, so the goal is to be after the spotlight. So then it's like a culture of just competing for the spot. So everybody's doing something, but they're all doing it wrong. Like every last one of them is doing it wrong. I'm going to be the head of the cleaning thing. It's like, oh, she's the head of cleaning? That's crazy because I just bought these new mops. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, and it's just like one thing to the next, and everybody involved is after pride. And then the work could get done, the church could be clean, and the attitude is nasty.
It's gross. Yeah, sometimes, bro. I don't know if this happens. I'm sure it does, bro. But I feel as though sometimes people be inventing ministries so they can be in charge of them.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, then I'm starting a prison ministry where we go and we preach to prisoners and we try to get them saved. Cool, bro. That's a good ministry. Honestly, if you got the steel for that, bro, go for it. I've never been to jail, even to visit nobody.
But that is when your sin will find you out. Mm-hmm. That is because if you're doing, like you said, you just created a ministry. Let's just say, for instance, you created a ministry and you're like, you know what? We don't have a outreach ministry where we go to the neighborhoods and serve the community, right? So you're like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to soup kitchen. I'm going to start the soup kitchen. Mm-hmm. But you're only doing it so you can get the praise from it, right?
Right.
So as soon as something goes wrong in that ministry, you're not going to continue it. It's going to die with you because you don't have a heart for it. Because if you know about any ministry that you try to start, sometimes it will just be you. I got a quick story about this, and we're going to move on. But we started the prayer ministry here. Mm-hmm. Me and my wife, I asked my pastor. My pastor tells a story about it in conference, in the sermon that he preached, about how he wanted to say no to the ministry. But then he was like, okay, because we pray before everything. Y'all know that. But it was different. This was focused prayer. It was a lot. It was intense. It was different. And so he said yeah to it. And so we can't. And there were some Saturdays we did a Saturday morning before outreach prayer. And so an hour before that. So we were here 8 o'clock, doing that. And we had this list, we would go by all this. And so there were times when, in the beginning, when I remember when we first started, almost the whole church came. Everybody was there.
Mm-hmm.
But as time went on,
Yeah.
started fizzling out. And there was the faithful few, right? And lo and behold, Tobiah was one of those faithful few.
I'm tired of her getting shout outs in these episodes.
I was about to
man.
shout her out for something else, and then I remembered you saying that.
She
Sorry,
was
Tamai.
Tobiah.
Get on that episode.
Tobiah is a Victory Chapel OG, so along with her parents. So there were some Saturdays where it was literally my family and her family.
Where my T-shirt at?
And so, and then sometimes when they couldn't be here, it was just my family, right? So imagine if we would have just been like, oh, this prayer ministry don't work, and we would have just let it die out. It would have died with us.
Yeah.
But you know what we started doing? We started, just contending for other people and keep it going. That's the thing. Whenever you start something, you can keep it. But our hearts were in it. So our hearts were right. There was no pride in it. It was just we believed that this would help the church. But then when you have, like we were talking about the soup kitchen ministry, well, as soon as it goes wrong, you're going to be, oh, this don't work. We're going to shut it down because it don't work. No, keep going. Keep going and see what happens. If it's your heart, you really want to do it, keep going.
Yeah, that's true. You gotta have the right mindset when going about this, because then sometimes people will, like you said, they'll start a ministry, and it's not because they want to minister, if you will. It's because they want the title of, I'm the head of, I'm the leader of, I'm in charge of, or whatever, right? So, like, for example, and this is I'm gonna say it real quick. They puff themselves up. So they might think, because I'm in ministry, because I'm this, like, it might not be they started a ministry. Maybe they're in cleanup. Maybe they're in song service. Maybe they're in the sound booth. They're like, I'm in ministry. Therefore, I'm reading this verbatim, I'm a higher rank than you, right? Talking to other people who might not be in who might not be in a ministry. I'm more saved than you. You know what I mean? You're not going as hard for the Lord as I am. Like, for me, for example, if I were to imagine if I went like that, talking about, well, you may think you're saved, but have you considered all the things that you're not doing? Because then I could rattle off a whole list and sound, I don't know, oh, well, I joined children's church, and instead of making me join children's church, they said, we want you to start a whole new ministry.
Who is that?
I don't know, bro. That would be so incredibly corny of me if I were like that. I think it's, honestly, bro, I wish they would have gave me just regular stuff. But you know what? I love this new ministry. I like seeing I always say my kids, and then people are like, you have kids? My students grow, and seeing them get smarter.
I had kids at his age, y'all.
All right. Thank you. You're not at my age. You might. Oh, that would be horrible.
Yo, if you guys are mean to my kids, we had a conversation about this. I don't know how we never talked about it before then, but I think it was you, me, and Israel were all together. We were talking about being uncles and having nieces, and I don't know if I want my kids around y'all, bro. Like, you guys are different.
You don't want us to be your kids' uncles?
Because you will do influential things on purpose so that they'll come home talking about some craziness. No way.
Oh, that's going to be great.
No way, bro. Restraining order.
Of course, my kids, they're not going to know you.
Okay.
You're like, where's our uncle? Singular. Because they got Uncle Israel. Right. And then they got the child they found in the desert.
Shout out Mr. Brad. He's getting a name shout out because he's nowhere to be
Y'all don't know
found.
that story.
Yeah.
Anyway, it would be super lame if I did that. Or if I was like, I'm actually beginning to lead song service like I talked about earlier. Honestly, bro, I can't stand being on stage. Bro. As stupid as that sounds, I'm in a band. Bro, I've never said any of these things because I don't want to sound prideful. It's like, nah. But sometimes, that sounds like Marquise. But sometimes,
You be saying, hey, Marquise, how are you? Nah, insults you.
We gotta get
daps
him
you
back.
up while
We gotta
insulting
get him
you.
back.
Marquise, explain this behavior.
Yeah, bro,
my
mellow Marquise Quizzle.
Mellow Marquise.
This is the feeding of the pride that we're talking about.
Yeah, my fault. I'm never shouting you out again.
Nah.
No, not the shout out. Not the shout out. The other stuff.
Quizzle.
No, definitely not the quizzle.
Not the quizzle. Yo, check out the Next Generation episode. I ain't even listened to the whole thing. I'll get there.
He gotta finish it. But yeah,
It was very good, actually. Yeah.
there you go. That's the cosign right there.
We got to do the second generation, though.
That was not a calculus
Who's
joke.
the second generation? The old people?
That second wave that came in after y'all that kind of gets lost and
Oh,
forgotten.
yeah.
The 15-year-olds of today. It's true.
Word.
They're great.
Oh yeah.
I think.
Sorry, I lost where I was at. So then
That would be like Gracie Brooke,
we getting y'all names are on here now.
Names dropped.
all of them.
Alyssa,
Well, yeah, Alyssa.
Randy.
All right. Too many names, y'all. Let's keep going.
Everybody.
Exactly. They're about to find everybody's home address.
Anyway, they'll take whatever, they might have a list like me or Elijah or Pastor Scott might have of ministries we've been in or we're in now, and they'll use those as a reason to feel better about themselves and to use it against others. I remember I said I would be very corny if I did that. I have a personal story. Remember, because I remember there were times where, because I would come in as a youngin. I was young. I am young. I keep doing that to myself.
Ooh. I am young.
I was younger
Ooh.
in the past. That's true. That's real.
That made my bones ache.
Hey, at least my bones don't ache like yours.
Wow.
Got him.
I'm logging out.
Got him. At least my hips don't hurt. At least my back. At least
he doesn't have to check his inbox.
there you go.
No,
There you
exactly.
go.
I
There you
said,
go.
check your inbox, bro. It's coming. It's coming for you.
Anyway, there have been times
You are
where
heaping hot coals up on
where I would let pride dictate the way I interacted. Not the way I interacted, but there would be times where people would be in the church, right? And maybe they'd be doing something and they're not necessarily doing it right? Now, everyone has to learn, duh. I wasn't anyone's ministry leader. I'm not in charge. It's not my job to make sure they're doing it right. But I'd be like, they're just, what are they doing? Don't they know anything about ministry? Don't they? I mean, think about this. And hey, look, bro, I don't do this anymore. So don't even come at me. But in my mind, I'd be like, why? How could you not get this? I mean, I got it. I started ministry when I was like 6. So maybe if I could get it at 6, maybe like, bro, who thinks like that? Me at the time. I told y'all I'm a little prideful, bro. Or there would be times where I'm like, you may think you know, but think about this. I've been in the fellowship 21 years. It's true. That's a true statement.
Bro is 21 years old.
I was born into it. I haven't
is.
even been saved for half of that. But hey, bro, I
Gotta run the numbers.
still said it. What do you mean? That would make me what? 11 and a half? No. 10 and a half. No.
Right.
Yes.
That's
21.
one of y'all shoe size.
So I wasn't saved at 10 and a half, bro.
Split the difference.
So, but I thought, I was prideful. I would say, I've been in church this much longer, so I know better. I've been in ministry for this much longer, so I am better or whatever.
I am better.
That's a crazy way to think. Now, in my defense, I might have known better, but that comes with time, bro, and not everyone has the time. But to think that in my brain, to use that and actually exemplify that in my character and my spirit is just gross, So that was a time where I puffed myself up and put myself, I'm in a higher rank because I've been in all these ministries, whatever. Not that
Bars.
important.
Yeah, and to that credit, so pride is dangerous because in James 4:6 it says, but God gives more grace. But he gives more grace. Therefore, he says, God resists the proud and he gives more grace to the humble. That is scary.
Yeah.
If you're prideful, God is not. So you're talking about being a ministry leader and God is not going to be on your side. God is going to resist you.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, think about that. So your ministry is definitely not going to grow. It's definitely not going to prosper. It's definitely not going to benefit those people who are in ministry with you. And so you need to humble yourself because if you're the leader, you're called a lead. It's just like if you say, for instance, in the context of a family, if you're as a father, you're prideful. And you don't want to admit or tell your wife or talk to your wife about, hey, well, I struggle with this or whatever the case may be. You could put your family in jeopardy.
Yeah.
So
Fact. Can you read
thing.
that verse one more time?
Yes, but he gives more grace. Therefore, he says, God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble.
All right. I have something else I want to say on that.
Word.
Because some of you, hey, bro, I'm not trying to call nobody out, but you might be listening. You're like, I'm not trying to be in no ministry. I'm chilling.
Jesus.
Thank you. Hey, bro, he resists the proud and gives grace to the humble. I want you to pause for a second. Think about all the things that maybe you're praying about.
What if they paused? and they're just hearing this later, like seconds later. Go ahead.
Everybody can flood Elijah's inbox.
Yes, bro. Please.
Please.
Sorry. Let me unmute him.
All right.
All right. Think about the things that you're petitioning God for, but you're prideful. In other areas, maybe you don't think you're better than God, but you have pride in other areas. You don't need his help in other ways, but right now you need him for this and that or whatever. The verse says that he gives grace to the humble. He resists. I can't say that word. Resists. Thank you. The proud.
Resist the pride.
He resists the pride in you, which makes you proud.
Yeah, for
Therefore, meaning that your prayers, of course he hears them, but he might be like, hey, bro, you think you're so great. You got that.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
It's true. I read, I might put it in the comments if I remember, but I'm probably not going to. But I read a verse one time where
Me too.
Right.
Sorry.
Somebody was prophesying. It was speaking. There was the Lord speaking through a person in the Bible, and it was like so sarcastic. It was like, "Oh, so your ways are so great, and you found satisfaction in the work of your hands. Well, that's good. Then let your works deliver you when your soul is in turmoil. Let your great wisdom achieve victory for you in the time of warfare, because since you don't want to ask for me, you know what I'm saying? It's like let your
Was that God talking to David?
I don't know. I think it was talking to a population,
Oh, okay.
to a people who were like, they thought they were on top, and it's like, oh,
Okay.
okay,
Israelites.
y'all don't need my help. I'm out.
Of course
Whoa,
it was the
man,
Israelites.
Yeah, bro, that's crazy.
you don't want to be that people.
Yeah. Imagine. Remember the last full episode, bro? This is what it feels like for me to be against you.
Yes.
Your bodies will fall in the
Yes.
desert. Oh, my lordy.
Yeah, but think about this
Oh,
too. At the end, the second part of that verse is saying, "But God gives grace to the humble." Why do you think that is? I'm glad y'all asked out there.
Okay, he
grace-
said the thing.
God gives grace to the humble because you gotta think, if you're humble, you don't know what you're willing to admit that you don't know what you don't know. You're willing to admit that you don't have it all together. You're willing to admit that this don't all ride on you. You're willing to admit all these things. So God is like, yeah, in your weakness, I can be strong.
Yeah.
So,
Word. I've heard a quote that's wrong,
Pastor's perspective.
but I'm going to say the quote where people would say, God only helps those who help themselves.
yeah,
No,
that
no.
ain't
No,
that.
no, no,
that-
no.
that-
No, no,
that's
no,
the
no, no,
most
no, no, no.
untrue statement.
That
Or
is
God only
literally
helps
the
fools
opposite,
and
bro.
babies is the other thing.
Exactly, yeah.
Is God helps people who know that they can't help themselves. You know what I'm saying?
sure.
He will help you if you put your faith in him.
Yeah.
You can't. He's not gonna help you if you think you got it, bro. He's not gonna help you if you help. I can help myself. All right, cool.
Hey, God, I just wanted to pray and tell you, this is what I'm going to do. All right. Basically, my plan is I'm going to do this and this and that, and it's going to work out. So you just watch from up there in heaven and bless me when I'm right. See you later.
Again, I will ascend. I will ascend to the mountains. I will be like the Most High. I will do that. I will do.
Yeah,
bro,
who's
is the
he
Most
telling?
High off crack.
Is he telling God? He's talking to God, saying all that.
Yeah. Well,
He's like, hey, bro.
yeah.
By the way, I'm gonna be like you. No, in fact, I will rise above. All right.
History's first doofus.
I know,
Well,
bro.
no, so verse 13 of that scripture in Isaiah 14, verse 13, it says, "For you have said in your heart." So he was telling these things to himself at first.
Yeah.
Right.
So God is telling him what his heart is saying. He's saying, you're telling yourself you will ascend, but because again, that's why I say, that's why I believe he's called the father of lies, because he had to birth them lies within himself, because he had to tell himself that first. He had to believe his own hype first. So he lied to himself first. The first person he lied to was himself.
Going off that just reminded me of like when I was talking about all that 21 years in the fellowship. I've been in ministry since I was 6. Whatever. I never told anybody. I never said those things to people.
It was in the heart.
It was in my heart. Yeah. But I still had to check it because God knows your heart. Hey, bro, don't take that out of context.
and out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Yeah.
And everything that flows out of you flows out of the heart. So if your heart, that's why your dad always says you got to make sure your heart is right, because if your heart ain't right, everything that flows from it ain't gonna be right.
And so to the very last point that we have on here, I just thought about for the first time when it says out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. That doesn't always mean that what you say is going to obviously expose what's going on in your heart, but it does mean that in some way what you say is going to be a fruit or a product of what's in your heart. And so like the last point in the notes is that being prideful is not always obvious even when it's present. And sometimes you can say things out of a prideful mindset and it doesn't make everybody immediately go, oh, that was so ugly and prideful. Like maybe most people, you can pull the wool over their eyes and they'll be like, man, that was so wise. This person's so great. But to those who may discern, the core of what you're saying is clearly seen. And so it can be determined that you're trying to glorify yourself in what you're saying, or that you're not after the right things. And so it's not going to stand the test of time. So if what you're after is the fruit of righteousness and what God's plans are for your life, you're not going to get them, because what's in your heart is your pride for yourself. So you might get away with it, but you only go so far.
Word. All right. Pride. What a great episode. You said I can't say that because I'm on it.
Yeah. All right. That's 2 on the nose.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I couldn't even say it.
Are you going to say I'm being prideful?
Yeah, it hurt
cornball,
me. It hurt me to even
cornball.
like approach that direction.
Think about this. God knows your heart. He knew he was going to say that. And he's like, I got a special mansion for you. It's a clown house.
Start playing that Dragon Ball Z music.
Bro, I think I've just unlocked a new kind of joke, bro. I know what mansion you got.
All right.
A clown house.
I can't disclose to y'all what time it is.
Or something else. I know what mansion you got. Prison. My fault. You're going to be the only person in heaven in jail. Sorry. All right.
You're going to have to
So
take it up with
can we conclude with this though? And for those of you listening, in a few short months, we're going to have our 2nd annual teen rally.
Let's go.
Yes, sir.
So I encourage you to, if you're listening, to send this and share this to everyone, this information. But if you can make it out, please make it out. It's going from Thursday to Saturday, the first week in June. And so the first Thursday through the first Saturday in June. And so if you can make it, please come. You don't want to miss this. This is going to be our 2nd annual one. It's improved from last year. We're going to have young disciples ministering. We're going to have a concert. Going to have all type of things going on those 3 days. And so I encourage you to come to the youth rally in Spring Lake 2024. It's going to be wonderful.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
More information to follow, I'm sure. There will probably be a flyer out by then. Recently, I think we got one now.
Yeah, it's
so
already
you'll
out.
see
The
it.
newsletter's out, the flyers out, everything's out.
Yeah. I only wanted to mention that because obviously we still got one more thing
Yes, sir. Voice
we
crack
gotta
on
do.
me.
And obviously this episode has been about pride, right?
It's
and
also
so
been about 2 hours. And all right, my bad.
So maybe you don't think you're a prideful person, like in your character in real life, not in real life, but like in terms of like when you know that Jesus died on the cross for your sins, right? I'm assuming you have at least some kind of understanding of that, or at least you've heard people say it before, right? And maybe you've been on the fence thinking about well, yeah, I could get saved. Everyone's always saying. Maybe you've listened to an episode of ours before, and you've been to altar calls, you've heard calls on your life to give it to Jesus, but you decide against it. Well, you might be surprised or shocked to maybe you've never seen it this way, but in that instance, you are thinking that you know a better way. Maybe you're scared or whatever, but you, instead of submitting your life to Jesus, instead of giving your heart over to him and wanting to serve him, have what is admittedly, guaranteedly a better life. Yeah. A life of hope, of promise, a life with calling. But you want to do things your own way. Then you could say that that's a prideful decision. You don't have to necessarily be a prideful person, but you want to make your own path. You are, I guess, technically you think you're like the Most High. I got it. I got a way. I got a plan. Lucifer had a plan. It didn't work out. So not to be, not to reprimand you or anything, but I just want you to understand the gravity of this situation, that it's incredibly important that we recognize that without Jesus, without him dying on the cross, we don't have any hope. But he did die on the cross. So we do have hope. So no need to worry.
Amen.
But in order to have that relationship with him, it starts with humbling yourself before him and asking him if he would come into your heart, asking him to change you. You want to repent from your sins, and then you want to live a life according to his will. And that may sound, in depth, complicated, difficult, whatever. And of course, living life as a Christian isn't going to be a breeze, a walk in the park. But this first step is a breeze. It is a walk in the park. It's so simple. All you have to do is say a simple prayer and mean it with your heart. And you're there. All you got to do is live the rest of your life. And that comes with time, obviously, but it starts here. It starts now. So I'm going to ask Elijah if he would lead us in a prayer quickly.
Right. And before I do, just piggybacking off what Isaiah said, the Bible says so much about how God works in and through people who are fools in the sight of this world, but they're useful and wise in his eyes because they make the most important decision, which is being obedient to God and humbling themselves before him. And no matter how long you've been a Christian or will be a Christian, that will be the main, most important thing for you to hold on to. So even if you don't learn anything from this day on, if you commit your heart to living for God, if you decide to be obedient to him, that's all you need until you die. But yeah, let's go ahead and pray. Say, dear God, I thank you for this opportunity. And I ask you that you would help me to come to know you. I put my pride to the side, and I admit that I've sinned, and I need your forgiveness so that I can be free to live a different life and let go of the ways of the past. I pray that you would make me a new creation and make me whole in you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
All righty.
Amen.
You did it.
Yeah. So if you said that prayer, feel free to reach out. You can reach out to our email, which is frontlineyouth.nc@gmail.com, or
Our inbox, if you will.
hit us up in the inbox, or on our Instagram, which is
At @fly_podcast.
Yep, that's the one. I was about to say my number. You cannot text me.
Oh, at least he is being real. Hey, Pastor Scott over here, man. He got no choice.
Why is that? Why can't they text you?
I mean, they could, but
Because there's too many millions listening, you know?
I just want to make sure.
I can't answer them all.
No, but if in the future, imagine this podcast is still up. The next people, whoever are going to take over have taken over. But now I can't, get a call from my wife because, all the millions of people that have found this podcast are now listening to this episode right now and calling me.
Block your wife. She
Call
can wait.
me. Block my wife. Absolutely not.
I bet.
Although, who knows? I'll probably have a different phone number by then, but we'll see. All right. Thank you guys so much. Do not forget about the rally. Don't forget about all the information that's been told to you. When was the dates? Did we say?
We didn't. June
first week of
6th through
June.
the 8th.
June 6th through the 8th. Oh, come on now.
Pray.
It's going to be lit. Pray for that.
Every single part of it needs prayer.
Yeah.
Finances, timing, transportation, the actual events going on, the hearts of the people while they're there, everything.
Yeah.
Food.
Food.
Pray for the food early.
Food. Shout out Brody. Food.
Shout out food.
Yeah. But definitely your prayers are appreciated and needed.
And so are your comments.
And so are your comments. We have to do a secret word.
Ooh.
Yes, if your comments work, you are blessed and highly favored because mine don't work.
I was trying to do the collab. What was that?
You're foolish.
What is... All
You
right.
got to hit the nuke now.
Napalm.
Nothing's working. Nothing. I quit. All the buttons got remixed.
So the secret word for this episode is napalm.
What? It's got to be palm, bro.
Napalm.
It's got to be... No. There is nothing secret about that word. I object.
There's
I think it's
everything
funny.
secret about that
I
word.
like it.
Napalm.
Napalm.
Oh, okay.
You've been outvoted 2-1.
All right,
Napalm.
well, napalm it is.
Secret
Thank
word is
you,
napalm,
Brody.
bro. I think it'll be interesting to see how you guys put that into a sentence that's normal. So
I saw a group of basketball players. This is a sample, y'all, the other day, and it always said, it always impresses me how am I going to do that? How napalm the ball. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to think of a use of the phrase that doesn't involve.
do you see why I always advertise to get a new co-host? Are you seeing? This is why.
Look, I was advertising to get a different secret word. How in the world are they going to say it without talking about just the
Best episode was heat,
not the
like
same.
napalm. Duh, that episode was fire, like napalm.
that sucks,
Man.
like napalm,
Man, this really made me start thinking about pride, man. It really put a fire under my butt, like napalm.
That's terrible.
So
That's terrible.
You said it's crazy how
All right.
napalm the ball.
Yeah, I did because I was because bro, every other secret word has more than one use. This is just like so flat.
The first pastor's perspective's secret word was wallet. How can you exactly? Bro?
Yeah.
It
But
don't
secret
matter.
words
There's
have
no-
updated, bro.
Napalm is funny.
It's
Y'all
Two-Face out of
look
the tube.
look up the Wikipedia article about napalm. Click on that one really famous picture. I'm serious. There's a really cool Christian story about the girl who is in that picture who was a victim of napalm, and she got saved.
It's Two-Face
She
out
spread
of
the
tube.
gospel.
All right, y'all. We love you guys. It's been 2 hours and 20 minutes on our
Lord
recording.
Jesus.
So I know you guys have been slogging. I know it's probably Saturday right now for you. You're probably listening in 2 days,
They
a
listening
double
in
up.
December. Shout out to my late folks.
But we love you guys so much. I mean, me and Elijah do. I'm not going to, Pastor
Can't
Scott,
speak for
he
Pastor.
No, we
appreciates
love you.
you.
That's why we gave you 2 hours. We wanted to give
It's
you
true.
more to love.
And these are two
Amen.
very special hours. Let me tell you.
Oh, come
we
on.
were in
now.
dress
These are
clothes.
good episodes.
And, yeah, and
Episodes
we're in
plural.
dress
It
code.
feels like that.
Yeah.
This was a good episode.
Amen.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. Please comment. Let us know what you think.
Like,
And
share, subscribe.
yeah,
Get
do all
saved.
those things. 5 stars if you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those things.
1
Hit all
star
the
to keep
buttons.
us humble.
No, okay.
All right.
We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.